Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here with the young boy Josh Smith. And Josh, we got our very first guest this week on Keeping It Strong Style. You guys know him. He's the host of One Nation Radio. He writes on socialsuplex.com and lordsofpain.net. The man behind Latta's Lariat and Latta's Lariato, Rich Latta.
What's going on, man? Glad to be here. First guest coming in, trying to be a main eventer off rip. You guys are booking the top talent. You know, right off rip.
We're trying to draw out here, so we had to bring on the big dog, the big guns.
It's kind of like when they used to bring in the NWA champion from out of town. Right. He's going to go 60 minutes Broadway with us and make us look like we could be in the same league as him.
Oh, man. How flattering me. Stop.
Nah, you're going under, bro.
I don't come to do jobs, man. That's not really my thing.
Yeah, but you're Flair in freaking Japan, and I don't see Harley Race at ringside.
Oh my gosh. So, guys, we're here to talk about Wrestle Kingdom 12. It's coming out January 4th. It's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Probably going to be the best wrestling show of 2018. At least one of them. There'll be a lot of match of the year contenders coming off this show.
If it's anything like the last 2 years, or the last 3 years, actually. I think the last 3 years in a row, Wrestle Kingdom's been the show of the year.
9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been amazing. So, guys, we're going to run down the card from bottom to top. We're going to break down all the matches. Also, we had a lot of reader or listener questions sent in. We're going to answer those questions. A lot of them have to do with the matches. So, as we get to that match, we'll answer those questions. We had a question from Caleb asking about if we think the team of Evil and Sonata will win along with Naito. We'll answer that later because we're going to get predictions for each of those matches. Then next, Simon Cotton asked, what is the weakest match on the card? And I think it's probably going to be the opening match, which is the New Japan Rumble.
Take that back. Take it back, bro. That's not going to be the weakest match.
Bro, I love the New Japan Rumble.
I love the New Japan Rumble.
All right. Well, I mean, it's not going to be 5 stars, is what I'm...
Well, we know that.
Right.
Yeah, but anytime Fujiwara comes out and puts someone in an armbar, like, that's...
Bro, you know what I'm mad about? The Great Kabuki retired recently, so he's not going to be in it.
He's not going to be in it, man.
That makes no sense. You know what? I bet he does come out of retirement for the Rumble.
I hope he does.
That would be hilarious. It's either going to be the Rumble or probably the 6-man gauntlet. Or probably the candidates for quote-unquote weakest match.
I don't know. That tag match.
We'll get to it. So
yeah, I'm looking at that too.
So let's start with the pre-show. It's the New Japan Rumble. For you guys who have never watched Wrestle Kingdom, it's pretty much Royal Rumble set up, but except it's just a bunch of pretty much all kind of like legends. You have kind of low-card, mid-card guys that couldn't make a match on the main card. They're in this battle royal, in this Rumble. I mean, usually sometimes the winner gets a title shot later on in the year. Like last year, Michael Elgin won the New Japan Rumble and he went on to face Naito for the IC title. But it doesn't always happen that way. As of this recording, we don't know any official entrants into the New Japan Rumble. But my guess, you're going to see guys like Kojima, Nagata, Yoshihashi, Bushi,
Liger.
Les Liger,
Tiger Mask,
Kojima,
Ming.
Yeah.
Maybe Ming comes back.
Jado.
Yeah. Ghetto maybe in there.
Scott Norton.
Man, I marked for Scott Norton last year.
I marked so hard when Scott Norton came out. I want him to win the whole thing.
So, what are you guys' predictions on? I mean, we don't know who's all in it, but just off the top of your head, who do you think could possibly win this New Japan Rumble? We'll throw it to Rich first.
It is a tough thing to predict, but I'm gonna go ahead and just choose Liger, because he's kind of essentially in retirement now, and he did his last Super Junior tournament last year, and if I know someone's gonna be in it, I'll pick Liger out of anyone that might be there.
All right, Josh, who you got?
I mean, just because he's not booked anywhere else prominently on the show, I'd have to go with Bushi. That makes the most sense to me. I was surprised that they left him off of the card in any other capacity, and he, the fact that they don't really have any weak members in LIJ. What else is he gonna do on the card? You know what I mean?
Right. For me, I'm gonna go with Yoshihashi. He's a Chaos member. He's a guy that they try to push. He had the U.S. title match against Kenny Omega. He's also been in the World Tag League, and he's had some other big matches this year. And it's a guy, he's not that, he's all right in the ring.
Swaggerless.
Right. No swagger. Yeah, exactly. No swagger. No insurance. But like Roman Reigns, they always try to get him over. So they might give him the win here at the New Japan Rumble, and he might get a title shot later on in the year.
I really like the New Japan Rumble because it's a really fun opener, and it's a good way to just kind of. It's going to be a serious card with a lot of really strong, like dramatic, epic matches, and you have this first opening match that's like, what are we watching? You got
it's really long too.
Yeah, it's really long, and you get weird like comebacks of guys like, I don't know, Captain New Japan or Bone Soldier, stuff like that.
Last year we got Billy Gunn.
Yeah, Billy Gunn showed up, and it was.
Yeah.
Did we know about Billy Gunn was going to be in that last year?
No, I think it was a surprise entrant.
Yeah, so they always do surprise entrants. If you're not a New Japan fan and you're just checking us out, the closest thing I could say this is maybe like the gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania 17.
Right.
Really similar to that.
Yeah, so pretty much this is considered a pre-show match. So the main card will start off with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Title match. Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo will be defending against Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. Roppongi 3K's been on fire since they came back from Excursion. They won the titles off of Ricochet and Taguchi. They won the Super Junior Tag Tournament. And now they've been challenged by the Young Bucks, 6-time IWGP Junior Tag Team Champs. Rich, who you feeling on this one?
Oh man, I'm a self-professed mark for the Young Bucks, so I'm just gonna take the Bucks. It's time to bring the titles back home to where they belong. The IWGP Junior Division has been defined by these guys for years now. They're actually, last year they got the chance to do a regular tag team match, which was pretty awesome. I think they fought the other Roppongi 3K,
Roppongi Vice.
The Roppongi Vice. Sorry about that. And then now, with the match with Sho and Yo are going to get a big chance to be out there with the Bucks because, I don't know how big Sho and Yo are right now in Japan, but worldwide, everyone's going to be trying to check out, what are the Bucks doing and who are these guys they're fighting, and those guys are really good. But I think they're going to go with the Bucks on this.
Josh,
come back to me.
All right. I'm also going with the Young Bucks just because I can't really see any other team in the junior division challenging Roppongi 3K. So I think you put the belts on the Bucks and then you set up a rematch for Roppongi 3K and the Young Bucks. And then when you do that feud, you can build up another junior tag team that could eventually challenge Roppongi 3K when they win it back from the Young Bucks.
Solid thinking.
I'm gonna split this up. I'm gonna split it and just say Roppongi 3K. I gotta be honest, I don't have strong feelings one way or the other about who actually will win this match because I think you guys have valid points, but at the same time, I think that it's an opportunity to establish them. They have established them this year by giving them the titles in their first match and having them win the tournament and all that. But I don't think that the Young Bucks truly benefit from this win in the way that Roppongi 3K could, and you're absolutely right. They could put him down and have him like rebuild and come back and challenge maybe at like Dominion or King of Pro Wrestling or something. But it seemed like over the last year that the Young Bucks have kind of taken less and less time, like less dates in Japan, and I don't know if they're going to stick around and be active like defending champions. Whereas if Roppongi 3K beats them, they've it's almost like they won the Triple Crown at that point, because they beat the most seasoned team that the division's ever had. It's pretty much the biggest stage.
Super push. Like the Rockets already on them, they'll go to the stratosphere.
Right.
They beat the Young Bucks at Wrestle Kingdom.
Very similar to like what they did with Takahashi last year when he beat Kushida. So I feel like they need to go in that direction. If they lose at this point, unless they look really, really good in losing, it almost this year seems like there's a lot of like turnover with like new faces, new opportunities. If they lose, they lose. But I kind of feel like maybe they'll go with Roppongi 3K in this one.
Yeah, I can see that happening either way. So that'll be definitely a fun match, a fun opener on the main card.
What do you guys predict as far as, star rating wise and match wise? What do you expect out of this match?
Well, I think it all depends on how much time they get. Both of these teams are awesome. Because it's an opening match, it might not get that much time. It might get like 10 to 12 minutes. So maybe like 3.5 to 4, maybe.
I'm gonna shoot for the stars and say 4 stars because the Bucks ain't coming to the Tokyo Dome to mail it in.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? We're just presupposing that it's the opening match because that's how it's listed in most publications. We don't really know if this actually will open
on New Japan's website.
Oh, it's got it listed?
Yeah, I took the order down exactly from their website.
Right. Put those words back in my mouth.
Unless cards always subject to change. They could always change it up, but on their website, it's the list, the order of the card.
I have a feeling that the Bucks will get more than 10 minutes. I think they give them at least somewhere between like 13 to like 17 minutes. I think a lot of the other matches will get cut shorter in favor of them. They're one of the biggest stars in Japan.
True.
I think this will easily go over 3.5, somewhere between 3.5, 3 3/4 type of territory.
Cool. All right, next match, we have the Bullet Club team of Bad Luck Fale, Tama Tonga, and Tangaloa defending the Never Openweight 6-man titles against the team of Chaos of Beretta, Ishii, and Yano, the team of Michael Elgin and War Machine, the Suzuki-gun team of Taichi, Iizuka, and Zack Sabre Jr., and the team of Team Taguchi Japan, Juice Robinson, Taguchi, and Togi Makabe. It's a gauntlet-style matchup. Traditionally, the champions come in last. Rich, who are you feeling is going to go home with this one?
Man, this match is a cluster fuck. The champs are, I'm a Tama Tonga mark, but I don't think the Bullet Club are going to hold these belts. I think I'm going to go with Togi Makabe, Juice, and Taguchi. If you look at it up and down, War Machine's out of there, so they're not going to win. The Suzuki-gun guys, no. And Bad Luck Fale and God, I think those guys can do like other things, like as far as like, maybe Fale's headed towards getting a title shot, and I may be spoiling my pick later. But yeah, I just look at Makabe, Juice, and Taguchi. Like, you can just throw it on those guys. It's about time Juice gets his hand on, a belt, and Taguchi's always entertaining, and Makabe is really famous in Japan. So I don't see an issue with putting it on them, and hell, maybe they lose it the night after at New Year's Dash. Who knows? These 6-man gimmicks are usually just kind of, you put these on, and then they're rental belts,
right?
Essentially.
This match was pretty much to get everybody on the card match.
Yeah.
Like, you're not in the match, we're just going to throw you in the 6-man gauntlet. All right, young boy.
I was glad to see a lot of these guys that, obviously, like, Michael Elgin had a stellar year that we talked about, and Ishii had a stellar year. War Machine. These were all teams that we were, and even Zack Sabre Jr., Juice Robinson.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talent actually stacked up in this match, even though people are saying it's going to be, maybe the worst match of the card. And because of the booking, it probably will be the weakest main roster, like, main event match. But I was glad to see a lot of these guys get an opportunity to do something, because the way that the card was shaking out, we were wondering where a lot of these guys were going to wind up. With that being the case, I don't know how I'm going to predict this, but I assume, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, last year the champions, they were the last ones in the match?
Right, the champions came in last.
Okay. So, I mean, if it's the Bullet Club and they're pretty much heels, then I assume that they're going to end up going up against a face team. If the order that they've given us is to be believed as being the way that, and they could change this, but I don't think Taguchi Japan is going to run the whole gauntlet, personally, if they come out first. I actually almost want to say that Suzuki Gun's probably going to cheat and beat them somehow. Then I think it's likely that maybe Elgin and War Machine go against Chaos after that. They'll handle Suzuki Gun. And then we'll get like Chaos and Elgin and War Machine. And I see that going one of two ways. Obviously, I think if War Machine, because of the fact that they're leaving the New Japan, then if they end up against Bullet Club, obviously Bullet Club's gonna go all the way. But I think if Chaos ends up winning, I could see him putting the titles on Ishii, Toriano, and Beretta, since they don't have anything else to do right now. They're three of their bigger single stars anyways. So that's kind of my call. It's like I think if it ends up Chaos against Bullet Club, I see Chaos getting the win. But if it's Bullet Club against Elgin and War Machine, I think that Bullet Club's probably going to take it. I'm going to go Chaos, my pick.
All right. I see a swerve, bro. Swerve. I think that War Machine and Michael Elgin are going to win the 6-man titles and then lose them the next night at New Year's Dash.
That's a good call.
Real good call. Real good call, actually.
Once you said that, I started thinking, I was like, he might be right.
Because everybody's going to think, there's no way Elgin and War Machine's going to win. They're gone. Elgin's contract's up the 31st. War Machine's WWE bound. They're not going to win. So then they pull a swerve, they get the big win, and then they lose the belts the next night at New Year's Dash.
Well, I just want to say this, man. Why isn't Ishii in another match?
This is crazy. Ishii is one of the candidates for our Wrestler of the Year in our Keeping It Strong Style year-end award, and he's in a 6-man gauntlet match. Woo. That's like if you put AJ Styles in a gauntlet match at WrestleMania.
See, I try not to get too mad at like New Japan because they do so much right, but this is just almost unforgivable.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, aside from his win over Kenny, there wasn't a lot that he did this year. And don't get me wrong, I'm a freaking mark for Ishii, but there wasn't a lot kayfabe-wise that he did that really put him over. I mean, he did well in all his tournament matches, and he had good singles matches, but he kept coming up short most of the year. I'm wondering if maybe with him taking those losses, they might want to protect him a little bit to set him up for like maybe next year, because he is that almost like Cesaro type guy that you can put in with anybody and have an incredible match.
Right.
And maybe they want to just give him a small break so that when they bring him in, they give him that big. I could see him. I don't know, man. I could see him winning the New Japan Cup. I could see that kind of push coming for him after this. In this next coming year, possibly. But I'm right there with you guys. I'm not happy. This is the second year in a row that we've gotten Ishii in a multi-man match at Wrestle Kingdom. It's kind of bullcrap.
Yeah, it's crazy. Before we move on, we had a question from Kyle Moores. He says, with War Machine leaving, where is the tag division going to go? This is something that we've talked about. We were covering the World Tag League in the first couple episodes, and we talked about how great War Machine has been and it's been one of the backbones of the tag division. With them gone, I'm not sure what the tag division is going to look like.
It's going to look like New Japan's tag division, how it's been the last 10 years in a row.
if it ain't the juniors, I don't care. Like the junior tag division is where it's at.
It's a big hit for the division, obviously. I think from a heavyweight standpoint, they're the most accomplished tag team. To me, they were the best tag team of the year last year, even over the Young Bucks, because of their consistency and their accomplishments and just what they accomplished in the New Japan ring this year. I am worried about what WWE is going to do with them. I think me and Jeremy were talking about this the other week. I think that this might be the scariest NXT callover that I've ever seen for me personally, because there's other guys that went over where I've been like, we'll see what WWE does with them. But then they had a good track record of treating the best guys still pretty good. Mm-hmm. But then after Nakamura this past year.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
After what they did to Nakamura, all bets are off. So I'm like, what are they gonna do? I mean, and plus even though they're having a renaissance of tag team wrestling in WWE, I'm like, when have they brought over a tag team like this that was established and really treated them the right way and like done right by them? I could see these guys going onto the main roster and splitting up in 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Once they get to NXT, I think they'll be fine. Triple H will push them well. Red Dragon just won the titles. So you can do a Red Dragon War Machine feud. Those guys have history from Ring of Honor and great matches. But like you said, once they get to the main roster...
You had that mirror match with Killian Dane and your boy, was it Hansen?
Yeah, Hansen.
Yeah, Killian Dane and Hansen, point at each other like the Spider-Man meme.
They're so much better than Sanity.
Oh, definitely.
They're so much better than them. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, on the Japanese front, it creates a vacuum, so there's more opportunity for maybe another tag team to step up. But match quality wise, this is a huge hit for the tag division.
I mean, what they need to do, they need to sign Chucky T, put in Loretta, run the Best Friends.
Cobb.
Get Cobb, sign Elgin, make them work together. They were a great team in the tournament.
That's my concern about this match. I'm such a I don't even believe that Michael Elgin and War Machine can win because they can't work as a team. They're not cohesive.
Right.
They can't win. You're wrong. They hate each other.
All right, we'll see what
Screw
happens.
Michael Elgin.
Oh yeah, you remember when he said that when he was coming out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're probably right. They probably are going to win the gauntlet. To answer, we had a couple questions on the as well from Simon. Asked us what we thought the weakest match of the card was going to be, and I think also did Caleb say the same thing?
No, Caleb was asking if we think that Naito and Evil and Sonata are all going to win the belts.
Someone else asked us... Well, Simon asked us what's going to be the weakest match of the card. I would say, if not the New Japan Rumble on the main card, this probably, because of the way that it's booked and the time given, is probably going to be the weakest match of the whole night.
Yeah, I feel that the 6 man is going to be get guys in and get them out real quick.
I disagree. And I'm going to say the Killer Elite Squad defend against Sonata and Evil.
Really?
Yes, because you know how Sonata gets down. Sonata could fully come out there and just not realize he's in the Tokyo Dome and just do his just go through the motions like normal and yep. And then Evil, I don't know, you take it or leave it on Evil. And the Wrestle Kingdoms that I've watched, there's always been a glaring weak spot, and it's the heavyweight tag team match.
Right.
But you know what? Last year's heavyweight tag team match was pretty good. All those guys cursing at each other and just hitting each other really hard. And last year's 6-man tag match was pretty bad, and they had a lot of really good talent in there. A lot of matchups where I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see Ospreay against this guy or that guy. And then it ended up just sucking because it was cheap finishes. It was real quick. It was too fast. It was too fast, and I don't know.
Ultimately, what they need to do, I know they probably will never do it. They need to unify the junior and heavyweight tags and let just tag teams be tag teams.
Right.
You could have the Young Bucks against Killer Elite Squad. You can have Roppongi 3K versus LIJ. You can have whatever, no weight class. Just let the tag teams run it.
Yeah, because even earlier when you were mentioning who's gonna challenge for the junior tag titles after this, I started drawing a blank about who are in the junior tag division. Who's in the junior tag division?
Right. Usually it's just throwing together juniors, just factions.
Backing up a little bit, are there going to be any young boys in the New Japan Rumble?
Oh yeah, Kitamura could easily win this Rumble.
He could be in the Rumble. Usually there are not young boys in the Rumble, and there wasn't any last year.
But it's Kitamura.
Yeah.
He could win that Rumble coming off of... he probably won't, but he could. That's a sleeper pick to kind of look back into.
Yeah, the evolving monster.
Who's next?
That's right. All right, and the next match is this special attraction match between the American Nightmare Cody and the Golden Star Kota Ibushi. Rich, who you got on this one?
Kota Ibushi in a squash. No, I'm just kidding. I asked a question last week to you guys, is Cody Rhodes good? And then you guys kind of redirected it. I did listen to the show, and I like how you guys framed the question because that's exactly how I meant it. Is he good enough for New Japan? he wrestled Okada before, and who's not great against Okada? Bad Luck Fale looks good against Okada.
Right.
Yeah, now that you say that, Fale had a 4-star match, and Cody had like a 4 1/4-star match. So,
Right.
Oh, it's only like a quarter better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I don't know if Cody Rhodes is really such a special attraction for New Japan. Maybe Ring of Honor. I'm definitely picking Kota Ibushi because they got the ROH title off of him. There's no reason for Cody to go over Kota Ibushi unless they want to, do a thing where it leads to dissension down the road, like you beat up my friend with Omega and Cody, and eventually when they fight. But aside from anything like that, I think it as a Japanese wrestling company, they are going to go ahead and look out, and Ibushi is going to flip on this man with the golden triangle. He's going to powerbomb him to hell, and
Kamagoye, that knee strike,
he's going to be looking up at the lights.
V-trigger.
Yes, with that whack ass blonde hair. What are you doing, Cody Rhodes?
And before I go to you, Josh, I just want to bring back up that promo that Ibushi did, where he was asking him why Cody lost the belt. He's like, "What happened to him? Why did he lose the belt so soon? Did he lose motivation? Do I need to talk to him?" I thought that was just hilarious.
Speaking of promos, how about Cody being like, clearly this is the sidekick. He is Brutus the Barber Beefcake to Kenny Omega's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just wrestling a sidekick essentially here. Like, really burying him, but I thought that was freaking hilarious. I don't know. I'm really torn on this one because I thought that, I kind of thought that with the ROH title on the line, Kota Ibushi could have still won it, and a lot of people probably didn't think that necessarily, but they had title runs this past year with
Kushida was the
TV champ. They put the TV title on the past on Ishii. They've done that and done short title reigns like that. So I kind of was thinking at the time I was going to pick Kota Ibushi to take the title off Cody. That way they could elevate the title. But once the title came off Cody, it kind of threw my whole theory into a whack. And I was like, what are they really going to do here? I'm almost inclined. I want to say Cody because for some reason, I mean, he's Dusty Rhodes' son. I think that guys, I really think listen, he's from WWE. They put freaking Billy Gunn in the main event at against Tanahashi this past year. There's clearly an affinity for WWE guys, and the fact that he's got the Rhodes name, and I think in Japan that's still
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Just Cody.
He's just a guy.
Yeah, I'm looking at the match card right now. We got Cody with Brandy Rhodes.
Right.
But the fact
Brandy got the Rhodes name.
She got the Rhodes name, but I guess Cody doesn't. But the fact that he is Dusty Rhodes' son, I'm almost like, man, this guy who won't sign a contract and won't stay true to New Japan, or Dusty Rhodes' son. But at the end of the day, Cody's still not like an exclusive talent to New Japan. And I think if he's going to lose, he's going to lose on a big stage like this. He's not going to job at, on some small stage. So the title's off of him. So yeah, I'm going to go with Kota Ibushi on this one.
All right, it's going to be a clean sweep on this one. I'm also going with Kota Ibushi. Like you guys mentioned, without the Ring of Honor World title, I mean, there's no real reason for Cody to get the win here. Kota Ibushi's had a great year since returning to New Japan. Awesome matches in the G1. Great IC title match with
the Tanahashi match
at Power Struggle.
They had a low-key trilogy this year, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rewatched their Power Struggle match on Access, and man, that was a great match. So I see Kota getting the win here, and I think that we could see Kota Ibushi challenging Kenny Omega for the U.S. title at Strong Style Evolved, March 25th.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. So where do you guys see Kota Ibushi going from here? So for you, Jeremy, you think we're going to see him in Long Beach, essentially?
Yeah, U.S. title match at Long Beach. Yep.
What do you think, Rich?
Kota Ibushi after.
That's your dude.
Yes, it is. I thought that it might be a situation where Ibushi and Omega are the G1 final for 2018. I thought that could have been the final this year, but I underestimated like what they wanted to do with Naito. So
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't at all. If it's not Dominion, I think Ibushi and Omega is a perfect G1 final. Like, those guys can go out there with no time limit and just like redefine the sport essentially.
Ibushi and who?
Omega.
You think that's gonna be the G1 final?
I would book it that way.
Wow.
I mean, it could happen.
I don't really.
Then put Omega over.
I'm still on this whole. If Kota Ibushi. I listened to the Wonderland interview that Tanahashi did. I don't know if you guys, or not listened, but I watched it because it was subtitled. But almost like probably in 4 or 5 different prominent positions, Tanahashi just kept putting over Ibushi. He just keeps putting him over, but he keeps saying like, essentially, without saying it, he's like, if he'll sign, he'll be the guy.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much been the whole storyline between Tanahashi and Ibushi. Tanahashi thinks Ibushi is the next guy, but wants Ibushi to commit
to New Japan and be Tanahashi and do what Tanahashi was doing, because Tanahashi doesn't, even though he sees a lot of talent, he doesn't see anybody behind him that is carrying that, that Tanahashi all good guy, like, Mr.
Ultra baby face.
Yeah, ultra baby face New Japan, and he sees that in Kota Ibushi and he wants Kota Ibushi to be that guy. And
actually, I'd say that bad. The G1 final's not going to be Omega Ibushi. Okada's winning the G1.
Yeah, well, I think we already.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going to happen with Kota Ibushi this year, but I feel like if he's going to sign and commit and have a bigger year this year, then yeah, we'll see him win here. If he's going to go back to freelancing and do DDT and do the independents and go to Europe and all that, I think Cody could go over. I'm still picking Kota Ibushi, but I'm just wondering what we're going to see out of him this year, really.
Wouldn't this match be better if it was Ishii versus Ibushi?
Yes. Yes.
You have Wrestler of the Year candidate in the gauntlet, and then you have Cody, who shows up for a cup of coffee every once in a while, getting a higher profile match.
Dude, we almost put Kota Ibushi in Wrestler of the Year based off of just his last couple months of the year.
Right. And for some reason, Cody gets the match. You're like, why couldn't Cody be in the 6? Do our second Bullet Club team. Put Cody, Hangman Page, and Chase Owens as a team in the 6-man gauntlet. Let
me ask you this: do you think we would have gotten a better match if Ishii had wrestled Cody?
I think it would just be Ishii just hitting the crap out of Cody.
because Cody ain't about that life. Cody is not about that life. Cody got to show me.
Yeah.
He still got to show me. I'm still not convinced.
Hey, I told you guys, he's every single mid-90s WCW guy in New Japan that there ever was. He's Arn Anderson in the Tokyo Dome right now.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there.
What do you guys predict match-wise? Like, how's this going to perform?
Star
yeah.
rating?
We didn't even...
I went with 3 3/4 on that.
Yeah, I go with that.
Nah, I'm going like 3. I'm solid 3 on that one. And on the gauntlet match, I'm going to go like 2.5.
I'm going to go 2 on the gauntlet.
Gauntlet, I'll give it a 2.5.
Oh man! All right.
All right. So next matchup, we have the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Titles on the line. The champions, Killer Elite Squad, Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer, defending against the World Tag League winners, Los Ingobernables de Japón, Evil, and Sonata. Rich, what you got on this one?
All the dudes that they capitalize their names. Like I don't understand that whole thing. Like why did they do that?
Explain that to us.
I'm going title change here. Those Killer Elite Squad guys, they've had those belts for a while now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The one in November? Yeah.
I think this is going to be a good night for Los Ingobernables de Japón, and it begins here.
Well, Bushi's going to win the Rumble, though.
Oh, okay. Not Liger.
Why would Liger?
Not Chase Owens.
Not Yoshihashi.
Hey, Chase Owens could win the Rumble.
The
Tongan Chase Owens. Yes.
What if Chase Owens came out there right after Meng and just freaking Haku was his protector the entire match?
Oh, that would be hilarious.
That'd be so funny,
bro.
And then
I would mark so hard.
He tries to use the tongue and death grip on Haku.
On Haku.
Oh man.
But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, man. So I think Sonata and Evil are going to take it, and it's going to be like the first, title for the LIJ guys of the night. And, Killer Elite Squad, those guys just look like just dudes to me. I'm definitely rolling with Sonata and Evil. Let these guys run with it for a while, at least till Dominion, and then maybe you get Guerrillas of Destiny to come back and get them. Maybe they can redeem themselves from that World Tag League final they had.
I mean, this is one of those titles that can switch hands on like Road 2 shows. It is really. I do see LIJ taking the win on this one as well. I think when I predicted that they would win the tag tournaments, it's because I thought that it was important for New Japan to put over one of their stronger Japanese teams to try to rebuild this tag division. And I think that's the direction Gato's going right now with the booking, especially since both these guys have had really, really good years and they need to be elevated on this card, essentially. Killer Elite Squad, I said this on a previous podcast, I think they were brought in to be made to look strong so that they can put over a tailor-made Japanese team, which I think it's this team. I think that's what their entire run has been building to, and I think this is the time where they put them over, really. I will say this, you're wrong, Rich. Killer Elite Squad's not just a couple of guys. Like, they're a really talented team. They're really good. I think they proved a lot in the tag tournament to show. I mean, they had some of the best matches in the B block.
And both those guys have come a long way. You go back and watch Lance Archer and TNA, and he was on WWE ECW. Those matches were rough. And Dave Boy Smith Jr., watched some of his SCW stuff in that early run with Tyson Kidd. I mean,
My whole thing with this is I think LIJ has the better gimmick, the better look, the more swag. But if it comes down to actually, and I think Killer Elite Squad, you're right, they look like a couple of guys. Their promos are not good.
Understatement.
If Lance Archer ever spit on me the way he does on those fans,
dude, he needs to stop the whole.
Gotta run it.
Yo, stretching.
Yeah,
stretching, man.
Stretching.
But at the end of the day, I think that they're the better tag team. Even though Evil's come a long way in Sonata, I don't think I wasn't like really impressed with much that they did during the tournament. I didn't like their finals match. But I think the belts are coming off of Davey Boy and Lance Archer.
Question. Is the wrong guy in LIJ wearing a mask?
Who, Bushi?
Is the wrong guy. Shouldn't Sonata be wearing a mask?
Why?
He might as well. Like,
no expression.
Yeah, no expression, no look. That man is literally like just
stone face.
Yo, I'll tell you what. At least he gets his gimmick. He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't say anything. I don't think Evil gets his gimmick. Every time Evil cuts a promo, I just think this is a really bad rock impersonation.
Everything is evil.
He does the thing where he like pauses and he looks around and I'm like, are you the freaking Rock right now? And then he's like, Evil da! And then he kisses his fingers and throws it out. I'm like, you would never see Undertaker throw up a peace sign, kiss his fingers, and throw it out there. Like, I don't think he understands his gimmick. You would never see Papa Shango do this.
Put Sonata in a mask 2018. Hashtag.
Yeah, but he's such a handsome guy.
I mean, put him in a mask.
Nah, Sonata needs to... Someone needs to work with him because there's no reason... He should be right up there with Kota Ibushi as being like one of the top guys in the entire company, and he comes off like just a dude who can do really cool moves, and that's about it.
Look, and that's usually enough for me. Like, I don't need you to be out here trying to sell and all that other stuff. Like, bro, I'm not really here for the selling.
Flips and super kicks.
Yes, I'm just here for flips and fights.
Every time we watch Ishii though, and he sells, you're like, it's so good. He's bubbling.
Because it's funny when he does it. if you can make me laugh while you sell, that's amazing.
Oh man. What do you think, Jeremy? You haven't even given us your prediction.
Yeah, so I'm also going with LIJ. I also agree this is going to be the night where LIJ takes over. So, yeah, I see them putting the belts on the Evil Sonata. Like you mentioned, Josh, we're talking about this. They need a new all-Japanese team to kind of be the flag wavers of the tag division this year.
And this past year, man, talk about like how repetitive it was with Killer Elite Squad and these other two teams, and like how it shakes things up.
We literally had 3 shows in a row where it was Killer Elite Squad, Gorilla Destiny, and War Machine triple threat matches.
Yeah.
Back to back to back.
Remember, they were gonna do it. They were gonna do that at New Beginning.
Yeah.
And then they ran freaking the Gorillas of Destiny and War Machine like 3 or 4 times in a row. I mean, it was like the same matches all year.
So hopefully, putting the belts on Evo and Sonata can kind of like turn the tag division in a different direction. We'll get some new matchups. So yeah, that's what I'm going with there.
What do you predict match wise?
I'd say maybe 3 stars. Rich?
We'll go 2.5, 2.75, the max.
I'll give it 3.
All right, next up we have the Never Openweight Championship hair versus hair match. The challenger, Hiroki Goto, will be taking on the champion, Minoru Suzuki. Rich, what are your thoughts on this one?
So I have a theory. Dolph Ziggler walked out the other week to make sure Goto did not get his hair shaved. Dolph Ziggler will appear at the Tokyo Dome to help the guy that he's always compared to. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, really?
No.
That would be hilarious.
Yes, like you will not beat this guy. So the loser's going to get the young boy haircut, essentially, and not Josh. The real young boy haircut. The shave it off.
I've been thinking about shaving my head, though, so I might...
Match the gimmick?
Yeah, to match the gimmick.
Yeah.
This guy going all the way in.
Yes.
I'm going to get that Yagi haircut.
And I don't think it's necessarily like, losing your hair is losing your hair, but you don't want to lose your hair in a fight. Like that's like the ultimate disrespect. And if it's anything about Suzuki, disrespect would not be tolerated. And I can't believe I'm going to do this, but this guy has repeatedly shown us we are not supposed to pick him in any situation. No matter, he might win a match here or there, but I'm about to pick Goto. I can't imagine Minoru Suzuki wants to walk around with that stuff on his head too much longer. That man literally has a roadmap cut into his head. Nah, man. And a mohawk that starts from the back of the head.
Right.
Like, nah, bro. He's got to cut that. Like,
Get rid of that.
Yeah, get rid of that. Like, Goto will look ridiculous if he cuts his hair.
So, everyone looked at me just now, guys, so I'm assuming that means it's my turn to talk.
Yeah, young boy. That's the order we're going in.
Puff, puff, pass. And, so I'm going to go Minoru Suzuki on this one. I'm actually really excited about this match. I wasn't excited about it when I first thought it was just going to be Suzuki and Goto. We saw that a bunch of times last year, and none of the matches were, especially compelling. The whole entire freaking Suzuki Gun shtick has kind of gotten really tired. But with that being said, there was a match back in 2015. I'm going to give you guys a match recommendation. It's from November of 2015 in Noah. It was Suzuki versus Takashi Sagura. And this was like a big blow-off match to the whole Suzuki Gun invasion. And they ran kind of a similar idea that they banned Suzuki Gun from ringside, and then they had a straight-up one-on-one match with Suzuki and Segura. And that match is freaking... It was one of my top 10 of the year in 2015, which was an awesome in-ring year. And they just went balls to the wall. It's one of the hardest-hitting matches I've ever seen still to this day. Mm-hmm. And with a guy like Goto and Suzuki, and they have to play into the gimmick that no one's interfering, and it's for the never quote-unquote strong style world championship title with the hair on the line. I assume that this is actually going to be a much better match now with the new stipulations than I had originally anticipated. So with that being the case, I don't think Goto's man enough to take down Suzuki in a one-on-one match. And it's Goto, man. I think that Suzuki's gimmick is his hair. I think Goto can take the loss. I think at this point, the whole Goto being a world title challenger, I think the ship's kind of sailed on that whole thing. I think
sound like Ziggler.
Yeah, I think he's gonna lose to Suzuki and get humbled, and then have to be on the whole rebuilding. And I think fans will be behind that. If Suzuki loses and he gets shaved, that's a big defeat for a big heel. Where does he go from there? I mean, he could just get more pissed and become a more violent and evil guy, but I got a feeling. I think Suzuki's gonna outman. I think this is gonna be what did you used to call the Shawn Michaels and the Real Man?
The Real Man match, yes.
Shawn Michaels versus Mankind.
But yeah, any Mankind match where he fights one of those pretty boys.
Yeah,
you know.
I think this is gonna be a Real Man match, is the way I see it going, and I'm taking Suzuki in this one.
All right, I'm going with Goto on this one, just for the fact, I know we compare him to Ziggler, but I think he also has a little bit of Roman Reigns also. Kind of also like Yoshihashi too. There are these guys that New Japan desperately wants to get them over. Goto gets opportunity after opportunity over and over and over again, even though he's just not quite at that level. And this is going to be another opportunity to give him that big push, give him the Never title, give him that big win, being able to shave Suzuki, and give him that big defeat, and that will elevate Goto to, run with the Never Openweight title for the beginning of the year.
And this Suzuki can do what he always does. He can just go fight Toriano or something and get rolled up after getting hit in the dick.
Is Goto the most disappointing G1 winner in history?
I mean, I don't know every single G1 winner in history, but since I've been watching, probably.
Yeah, I think at one point, most people would have said Naito before his big push, but I think it's Goto, man, when it comes to this sort of thing. But yeah, you make some good points there, Joe.
But I will say, dude, I like the whole story behind this match, hair versus hair. At first when it was announced, I didn't quite get it, but as you watch the English promos, they kind of explain why this hair versus hair. Goto has nothing else to offer. He's so desperate that he's willing to put his hair on the line and lower himself back to a young boy look almost to get a crack at Suzuki again and get this Never Openweight championship.
Bro, Goto lose, he better never come back. You ever hear about them fight? If fights when you're a kid, when we beat you up, you ain't never coming back around here again. Right. I think Goto's in that same situation. You better never show back up if you lose.
I think one of the things New Japan does extremely well is build up for, big monumental wins when they matter. But something else that they do almost better than anybody else is build it up like that's going to happen and then break the fans' hearts and break the wrestlers' hearts. That's why I got Goto losing.
Break their spirits.
Yeah, I think they're going to break him. I think that maybe this can be the catalyst for Goto's next turn. Can you imagine maybe Goto and freaking Ishii, two freaking bald, pissed off dudes
going back and forth
or teaming up?
Oh yeah,
because they're both in Chaos.
Yeah, I thought you were saying maybe Goto would leave Chaos and go heel.
He wasn't in Chaos for the longest time. Remember, he only joined it. What was it, a year ago?
Yeah, a year.
Yeah, so he wasn't even part of it for a long time. But I could see him I could see the two of them just being two freaking bald bruisers, just going up against LIJ or something like that. So that's. I don't know. I don't know what Suzuki does after that if he loses. But I can see what Goto. I can see big story arcs for Goto.
Antonio Inoki would love this match.
Oh, man.
So, what we got next?
All right, next we have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match. It's a fatal four-way. We have Hiromu Takahashi, Kushida, Marty Scurll, and Will Ospreay. Rich, what you got on this one?
This is what I came for. These flips.
The flips.
The flips and the big moves, the high flying, the jumping outside the ring. Hiromu Takahashi not giving a damn about himself. Jumping out on people while they're making their entrance. I am picking Takahashi to go ahead and get the victory, continuing the dominance of LIJ. Marty Scurll, whatever. Ospreay, I think he's a piece of shit. Whatever. Kushida.
Why don't you like Will Ospreay?
He came out on Twitter and embarrassed himself.
What'd he do? I don't even know this story.
All right, so the deal with him is he was essentially saying all the Me Too stuff, with the women coming forward with sexual assault,
right,
and everything like that. So he basically was coming out and saying, he was victim shaming essentially.
I never heard about that.
Yeah, he embarrassed himself pretty hard.
Yeah, that was a couple months ago.
Yeah, and then Kushida's always there, but Kushida's Kushida. I mean, they could put him over, at the Dome and reestablish him again as the ace, like they like to do.
Well, he is the ace.
But Takahashi is the excitement in this division.
Yeah,
and he is the wild card, and they rarely do these fatal 4-ways, and I think if you've enjoyed the WWE multi-man matches that they've done this year, like, you are going to be right at home because this is going to be another level.
That tag match they did at the last pay-per-view was pretty awesome, actually.
Like when Ospreay and Takahashi were paired off.
Yeah.
Those, I think it's going to be a lot of high flying and a flash finish.
So, kind of going back, we for months, we kept getting Takahashi coming out after every single
It's time.
after every single junior title match. He would come out like he was going to be the next guy to challenge for the title, and then he would get attacked or like upended by either like Skrull or the same thing happened. Did all three of these guys beat him up at one point?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And then
Tables have turned.
so when they came out for the fatal to announce the 4-way, he came out with that helmet and the boxing gloves on.
Right. Now we have
Ready.
Skrull couldn't break his fingers. He couldn't get like hit in the head. He couldn't get hit in the crotch. He was all protected.
Ready to scrap.
And so that was a really awesome build to this match. With that being said, I think that it makes the most sense to put the title back on Takahashi. He had an incredible first half of the year with his title defense run last year. And with a lot of the other divisions in New Japan kind of lacking, one that doesn't in depth is the junior division. Even right here, just these 4 guys. I think Takahashi holding the belt makes more sense and opens up more opportunities to create future great matches with him and Skrull and him and Kushida again. And I think him and Ospreay will actually be the next program. And then you've got a bunch of other juniors that are kind of lurking in the wings where there are great matches. In fact, even Bushi, I don't know if you guys had heard anything about this, but Bushi was in the media prior to this, and he was lobbying to get this turned into a 5-way, and he really, really wanted into the match. They were even cut.
Shocker.
Yeah, and they were cutting promos about it, acting. I thought maybe they might do it, but then it never ended up happening. I could see even
Going for business for himself.
Yeah, I could see Takahashi and Bushi end up having an inner,
LIJ versus LIJ.
LIJ versus LIJ like type of rivalry for this belt. So, putting the belt on Takahashi in my mind, especially with the type of night that LIJ is going to have, it makes the most sense to me. None of the other booking really makes a lot of sense unless somehow Skrull retains. That could happen, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to take Takahashi in this match.
All right, so I'm also taking Takahashi.
Clean sweep.
Yeah, it's gonna be an LIJ night. I think LIJ, they're gonna win all the belts. Plus Takahashi, he has a family to take care of.
Yes.
Daryl and what's the baby's name?
Daryl Jr.
Yeah, Daryl Jr.
And Carol Takahashi as well.
He's got a family. He's got kids. He's got
grandkids.
He's got grandkids. He's got to win this match so he can support his family.
Who's the dude with the family in WWE?
Heath Slater.
Yeah, he's like the Heath Slater of New Japan.
No, but, Takahashi, like you mentioned, he keeps, being ousted out of these junior title matches, so I think it's time that he gets in there, gets the title back. The only other option that I could see if it's not Takahashi would be Ospreay, just for the fact that, he could never beat Marty Scurll one-on-one. He could never beat Kushida one-on-one. He finally beat Kushida to get the belt, and then he lost it real quick back to Skrull. He could easily win it back, and then you run back him versus Skrull, and it's a story of, can he finally beat Skrull one-on-one with the belt on the line? And that's the only other option I could really see happening. I don't see Skrull retaining Kushida, and it's, it really stinks that we're kind of down on Kushida because he's a great worker. He's amazing in this division. But he's just been in the division too long.
Bro, he needs to get out of there.
Right, and we've mentioned this several times, Josh, about Kushida moving up to heavyweight. I think it's time that he gets, moved up to that division and get some fresh matchups. And he's even made mention of himself in promos saying,
right, we talked about that, yeah.
Maybe it's because he's been wrestling heavyweight, all across, the world. Like we mentioned in Ring of Honor, he's a TV champion. He's wrestling, guys of all sizes. So, I think after losing here, it'd be a great opportunity for him, maybe New Year's Dash, say, I'm moving up to the heavyweight division.
Well, remember he cut that promo that you're talking about where he was talking about how like outside of the country, outside of Japan and outside of the country, he's had one of his best in-ring years essentially. But when he came home, what he's done outside of the country is basically not mattered.
Right. He said he's like, nobody's talking about Kushida.
Yeah.
He's like, I've had a bunch of great matches this year, but is anybody talking about me?
Nobody's talking about me.
At least he knows what's up. Like,
Yeah. Now, it's funny that you mentioned heavyweights because after the last Road 2 show, Takahashi actually cut a promo where, no, it wasn't the last one, it was the first night after he got laid out by Okada. And he started talking about, basically he was too weak at this point to challenge Okada, but Okada just needed to wait because he was going to build up his strength, build up his fighting spirit.
Yeah.
And he started talking about how he wanted to challenge for the IWGP title. And then he was like, oh, but you're going to lose the title to Naito, so I guess there goes that. I guess I could just fight you in a special attraction match. And then he's like, or you could come down and challenge me for my IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship.
we'll kind of get in the gym and sweat off some weight. Yes.
But he started talking about how strong the heavyweights are. He mentioned Kenny, he mentioned Suzuki, he mentioned Naito, he mentioned all the big guys, and he said, just wait, because one day I'll be there. So I think even Takahashi has aspirations to one day move up to the... he knows he's got the juice. And he's seen guys like Kenny do it and, Prince Devitt. So why can't Takahashi and Kushida eventually do that? You know what I mean? One quick thing, because we didn't really cover it with the last two matches, this match and the hair versus hair match. What do you guys predict, ratings wise?
For the hair versus hair, I'm going to go 4.
That's exactly what I had it at.
I'm going 4.25 on that one, and maybe even, who knows, it could be 4.5. I think that one's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah. And then for the junior match, I'm going to go 4.5.
Same here, 4.5. These guys are going to be flying around big time, and it's going to be like, it's going to be a coming out party for Takahashi. I know he had a great match last year, but he's made already now.
Yeah.
And he's going to, triumph again, I feel like.
I'm going to go 4.25 on this one just to be safe because it's a multi-man match and it's, underneath those top 3 matches above it. So I'm just going to go 4.25, but I mean, who knows? I mean, they could do something, better than that. Who knows? One quick question, since we already covered Suzuki, why didn't you answer Caleb's first question of the night?
Because, we don't got time for foolishness on keeping this strong style.
Yeah, we might have to open hand chop this man when we see him, across the chest.
Because then we didn't get to address James's question in response to Caleb's question.
Yeah, man, none of that, man. I'm about to stretch Caleb, man. I've been, doing some wrestling lately. Caleb, I'm about to stretch you.
Had to stretch you,
man. Let me get your arm alive. Let me stretch it. All right, so moving on, we have the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match. The Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, defends the belt against the returning Switchblade Jay White. What you got, Rich?
Woo! Big jump for Jay White, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy appeared out of nowhere. He was a former young boy, real good wrestler.
Yeah, he's won, a lot of those opening, 5 or 10-man, 8-man, 6-man tag matches.
Yeah,
teaming with David Finlay.
Yeah, it's like they're calling him this deadly assassin, and he's untested at this level. He wasn't in G1. He wasn't anywhere to be found, really. He was across the world. We saw him last WrestleMania weekend, taking on Danny Burch.
No. He wrestled
Sami Callihan.
He did?
Yeah, Danny Burch wrestled
Jeff Cobb. That's right. That's right.
He Jeff Cobb too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Tanahashi in the Tokyo Dome. I don't care how broke up he is, how old he is. It's the Ace. It will always be the Ace. As the column I wrote, Latta Lariato 2 stated, Tanahashi's not losing 3 in a row in the Tokyo Dome. I just don't think that's happening. This is a star-making opportunity for New Japan, and I feel like they have been so good lately. Like, we literally have to just let them try, because if this works, they have another guy to add to that top mix. I don't think he'll win. Like I said, I don't think Tanahashi's losing 3 times in a row at the Tokyo Dome, but I think this is going to be the wild card match of the night, but I've got Tanahashi.
Okay, before we come to me, I want to ask you, with your prediction in mind and everything that you just said, you brought some really great points, but you mentioned that Tanahashi is broken up. So how do you think with your prediction, how do you think his current injuries with his back, his knee, and his bicep and all that is going to play into this match and then into your prediction?
I think he probably gets like the arm gets worked over at a certain point, maybe even the leg, but it's Tanahashi in the Dome. I think for one night he's going to tape it together, soldier up, and do it, and then the new beginning, like there's a bullseye. I think that belt's coming off him after that.
And I definitely think Jay White will go after the leg. We saw at the Road to Tokyo Dome show the second night, he did attack the leg, did the dragon screw. And so I think the leg will be the focus of Jay White's attack in this match.
They say you can't hook with a hooker. You shouldn't try to dragon screw with a dragon screwer, man. Man, this is, to me, it might be, aside from the main event, in my mind, the hardest match to actually predict. Because when this match first got announced, I was clearly on Team Tanahashi. I didn't think there's any way he's losing in the Tokyo Dome 3 years in a row. But then again, I started thinking Shawn Michaels used to lose a lot on the big stage when he was in the later end of his career, and Taker put a lot of people over, and Tanahashi is kind of broken down, man. And they are putting the entire promotional machine behind Jay White. I don't know who to predict is going to win. I think that one thing I will say, though, I don't think that New Japan would have really put all this effort and machine behind this kid if they didn't think he really, really was going to be a star. Since kind of like how Rich said, he kind of came out of nowhere. I've been doing some research, and apparently the person who put New Japan onto him was Finn Balor.
Right.
And Finn Balor was talking about how this kid is going to be money, big money, apparently. And so I can't say I'm as familiar with his work, but if they're putting him in the Tokyo Dome, James actually asked us a question about this.
Right. I was going to get to that after my prediction. So I've been torn on this just like you, Josh. I mean, it's Tanahashi in the Dome. He's the ace. But you got the bicep, the knee, some back issues, and then you have, a debuting Jay White, re-debuting Jay White. And I kind of have that traditional wrestling sense. When you're debuting somebody new, a new star, you don't beat them in their first big match. It's kind of like, what's the point? Give them this whole new gimmick, this whole big build-up.
Unless it's Lucha Underground.
Right. Yeah, everybody loses their first match in Lucha Underground. But, why would you go through all this effort to just have to beat him in the Dome? I mean, he can win and defeat, he can have a great, star-making performance, that can set him up well for the rest of the year. But I think I'm going to do the wild card pick. I'm going to go with Switchblade Jay White. Tanahashi's hurt. Jay White's something fresh, something new, and then they could always do a return match with Tanahashi and Jay White later in the year. And then our brother James from One Nation Radio asked...
Brother James!
We knew you'd come.
I knew you'd come. So badly.
James asked, is Jay White deserving of his spot on the card when you have guys like Ishii and the Juice Man in the 6-man gauntlet match? What do you think, Rich?
I don't know if it's a situation where White deserves it any more than those guys, but like Josh was saying, I think there's more to this than we're seeing. Really strong belief in him backstage, and if they can, I feel like they put him in this position to where he can either sink or swim, and if he scores, they have something, and they wouldn't find out if the positions were swapped. If Ishii was in this match instead of Jay White, that's just more of the same, with New Japan, and not there's anything wrong with that because New Japan has done that. Be yeah, we played it safe and whatever. Because
you sound like Tama right now.
What's that?
Tama Tonga, when he was doing his promo at G1.
Oh, yeah.
He's like...
Without the cursing?
He's like, man, he's like, man, this is boring. I see the same guys year after year.
Yep. So, like, because mind you, Wrestle Kingdom and Dominion were, like, rematches last year.
Yeah.
So, like, I think the Jay White spot is a break from the norm. And, like I said, they have earned this. They have earned the trust of the audience, like to do something like this, to put him in there. And we know the guy doesn't suck, so it's not like it's not like he's
not Jinder Mahal.
Yes, I wasn't gonna bring that name up on this podcast, but
it's not a jobber.
Yes,
he who should not be named.
Yes,
right. They're not pulling up a jobber and giving him this big match. You know, Jay White went away. He went to Ring of Honor on excursion. Had some great matches over there. While before that, he had some great spots and matches on these 10-man and 8-man matches.
Yep.
And so now he's back, new gimmick. Right, we know he can go. He's a great worker. So if they do decide to put the belt on him, we know we'll still get great matches, and it could lead to something new, potential matchups, and just something something fresh.
I think there's a couple different outcomes I could see here. The traditional WWE fan in me says, well, he left Tanahashi laying twice, so maybe that means Tanahashi is going to go over.
Momentum rule.
Yeah, he has too much momentum. Maybe he's going to lose. But then again, like Rich said, it's Tanahashi in the Dome. He already lost the last 2 years in a row. I could see maybe Tanahashi winning, and then after the match, to really put over Jay White, he attacks Tanahashi or injures him, quote unquote injures him, and then he has to drop the belt, and then maybe there's a tournament for the belt or something of that nature. I also could see him just beating Tanahashi. We saw it with Takahashi last year when Takahashi made his debut in the Dome. He was re-debuting. He made a big name for himself in Mexico, but no one really knew what to expect, and he came in. He beat Kushida clean first night at the Tokyo Dome. I'm gonna agree with Jeremy on this one. I'm gonna go with Jay White against my better judgment. But Jeremy said roll with me, dog, so I'm gonna roll with it. And to kind of answer the question that James said, is he deserving of this spot on the card? Well, let me say this. He's in the same class of, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he comes out of the same class as Juice Robinson and David Finlay and those guys. And they put enough faith in him to have him semi-headline the Tokyo Dome in his first match back. So, yeah, I think that they must see something in him that we don't know about. And like Rich said, New Japan's earned our trust at this point. They delivered with Takahashi. They've delivered with other guys that have debuted. So, yeah, I'm expecting this to be a great match for me. I'm going to go with Sling Blade. Switchblade. Man, I keep doing that every single podcast. I'm going with Switchblade. And I'm going to, I'm going to say that he knocks out Tanahashi in the Dome.
Really? Knockout?
I'm going to predict that he wins by a knockout.
Okay.
And then we're going to get this Tanahashi redemption, John Cena after he lost to The Rock, rebuilding year type storyline.
Bro, do you think Tanahashi's ever going to get a shot at the, are they ever going to do a nostalgia reign with him for the world belt?
For the IWGP title?
Yeah.
I think so.
I was watching, like I mentioned earlier, I was watching Power Struggle on Access, and his promo after he beat Ibushi, he's just talking about how, he never wants to let the fans down again. And, he wants to try his hardest to have the best matches and please the fans. So, losing here, that can be his whole storyline of 2018, trying to not let the fans down anymore.
Trying not to be washed up.
Right, try to be the ace that you guys know and love. And so he goes through 2018 this redemption story and building his way back up.
Have you guys ever seen heel Tanahashi?
No.
I have. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sounds, I saw him in 2015. He had a match in DDT. I think it was against.
You told me about that.
Yeah, it was a tag match. I think it was him. I can't remember who he teamed against, but it was against I think Suwama or whoever the freaking face was over in DDT, and really interesting stuff. And I thought to myself, I was like, man, if he ever turned heel, he could really pull this whole freaking thing off. I'm not saying that's not my prediction, but with this match, I'm gonna go 4.5.
Yeah, I'll go 4.5 also.
That's exactly what I have. Chalk out here. Right?
Oh, man. All right. We're getting down to the very end of the
Go
card.
Ace.
All right. We have the IWGP United States Heavyweight Title match.
Yes, sir.
No disqualification. Alpha versus Omega. Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega.
Draw.
Our draw, right?
All right, Rich.
This has been the hottest feud in professional wrestling, bar none right now. These guys, this man Chris Jericho has caught us off guard once again. He has shown that you cannot predict what he's going to do, even if he leads you one way. It might be a swerve.
Swerve, bro.
Yes, this entire feud has been built on like unpredictability and really working everybody, and it being very old school. I wrote in my column today, this is the evolution, like this is the modern day Ric Flair versus Terry Funk, which ironically will come after Omega's own Flair Steamboat series, except this time he's Flair. Like you know, this is a blood rivalry. Josh, I don't want to step on your toes too much. I know where you're going with this, but this is a masterclass in using real life and kayfabe to hook people totally in. We thought the match was squashed on Twitter. Then all of a sudden Jericho shows up in New Japan and we're like, whoa. And then all of a sudden he busts Kenny Omega's head to the white meat and we're like, whoa. And then he drops Don Callis with a code breaker and he looks like he's gonna die. And he shows, yes, yes, and he shows up
like a whoa.
Yes, and he shows up.
Yes, we're about to start a song, right?
God damn it! And Don Callis shows.
Yes, y'all.
This man Don Callis shows up in the airport with the damn neck brace on, looking like a goddamn fool.
I was so mad when we didn't talk about that. Bro. We were talking about Omega. We didn't talk about Don Callis at the freaking press conference.
You know he really didn't hurt himself running away from Suzuki?
Yeah.
He hurt his ribs.
What were you saying, Rich?
Yeah, so like the only thing with Callis, I hope that he got extra benefits in the airport, like kayfabe work benefits.
Right.
Like, I'm really hurt. You guys need to take care of me. I really hope that happened. I think Omega's never been in a position to be like more heroic, like because he's a part of the culture in Japan with those fans.
Culture.
Yes, for the culture. We always talk about the culture here, but Omega's really like, he grew up there. He's not just a guy that, showed up in New Japan. Like, he's not like Michael Elgin or something, right? Like, this guy went through the independence in Japan to rise all the way up. So he's just as much of their guy as like, a native guy would be. I don't think this is like, this isn't the match that he's going to blow the star system to pieces with, because, I don't think Jericho's like the guy, to do that crazy Kenny Omega match like that we know he can have. But I know one thing Jericho can do. He can brawl. And if any indication, with this psycho madman character that he's like been unleashing on everybody, this is still going to be great. This is still going to be a 5-star match. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
And I think Kenny Omega is gonna end up getting the win here. But we have not seen the last of Chris Jericho in New Japan.
Right. He's scheduled for New Year's Dash, so there's definitely more to come.
Do we get trunks or tights?
We get jeans.
Oh.
I think we're getting jeans.
Street fight. Jeans, taped up fist.
Come as you are.
Alpha Club shirt.
We might. That's so freaking.
Bro,
that's so Jim Crockett.
Like, it's either jeans or he's gonna wear pants. I think
he's wearing tights. I'm like, I don't know why I'm like geeking out over it.
Yeah, like long tights.
Yeah. I think he's gonna bring back like Jericho tights.
Right.
He's a whole different character in Japan right now.
Right.
Oh, man.
All right, young boy.
Yeah, so...
This is fucking great.
Yeah, so I'm going to just start off my prediction right here by saying we are going to get a 5-star match. That is my prediction. I believe that this is solidly going to be a 5-star match. It's a blood feud. These guys have been killing it in the press. I don't know if you guys so me and Jeremy try our best to bring you guys the most up to date news coverage week to week as we possibly can, and so I'm always scouring the internet, and every week it seems like there's a new interview. Rolling Stones covered freaking Kenny, and he was talking about blading, and then Jericho was on the Jim Ross podcast just for the Ross Report. He just did an interview with Sports Illustrated. These guys are hyping this match like no other match. Something that Jericho said was when he was talking about the build to this match, he said it really doesn't matter if the match is good or not at this point, because he was saying that what really matters is selling tickets. and telling a great story, and he was like, the story's already been told,
and the tickets are selling,
already selling. He's like, at this point, he's like, don't get me wrong, we're gonna have a great match, but if we just had a great match, it wouldn't have really mattered. But the fact is, like Rich said, this is the hottest thing that's going on in wrestling right now. Jericho mentioned in his Sports Illustrated interview that he just did, he said, the last time he wrestled a guy who got color during a match was 10 years ago, and I believe he's talking about HBK and their famous feud. And it's been almost 10 years that I can think of on any major national promotion where we've gotten something that is reminiscent to a real blood feud on this level that harkens back to the days of the territories, which is what this absolutely is. I'm very, very interested to see what kind of creative stuff they pull out, given the fact that in New Japan, if you hit someone with the chair or do something illegal on the outside, it's not generally going to result in a DQ. But if you do it in the ring, you're absolutely getting DQ. That's pretty much been the unspoken rule, basically. So at this point, we actually had a question from James. He said, "Do we think we're going to get some?"
Yeah, he said, "Is there any chance that Jericho will make a fight in the crowd on some Austin shit?"
I think so. I think the last time I can really remember two guys doing that really effectively was Roman and AJ at Extreme Rules. They did that really effectively.
That was a great match. Yeah.
Great match. I think we're gonna get, in order for them to really work this gimmick and to do something truly memorable and different, I think we're gonna see them brawl all over the Tokyo Dome. That's what I think. I think we're gonna see an athletic display in the ring as well, with some really creative spots. I think they're gonna work a master class when it comes to working with weapons and actually brawling. But the bottom line is, I think that this is going to not really. I think it's going to be like Magnum and Tully, where it's not going to so much resemble a great wrestling match. It's going to be a fight. They keep telling us it's going to be a fight. I think that's what they're going to deliver on. That's the expectation. Tape fists, come as you are, freaking. This is going to be a fight. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting an incredible fight from Kenny Omega. I think that this is another real man match.
Yeah,
this is Omega's real man match right here.
And this perfectly masks any athletic deficiencies Jericho might have at this point.
I don't think he's that athletically deficient, though.
Bro, he's not Chris Jericho from 2013.
No, but he's still Chris Jericho from last year, who was still really good.
Right, but I mean, they can, like I mentioned last week, they can, they don't need it, but they don't DQ that. It can help in case of anything.
Right.
It's a fallback.
Right.
Listen, I think that if Jericho and Omega just had the big dream match and they come in and they wrestle the big dream match, I think we still get something close to 5 stars.
Right.
But I think with the story, the blood, that's okay. Let me ask you something, Jeremy. Fun question. So, if you had to say, what do you like in wrestling? Like, Rich likes flips and he likes brawls. What do you like? What are you a mark for?
I don't know. I do like the flips. Having an amateur wrestling background, I do mark for suplexes. When I see Chad Gable throwing dudes around, a lot of my favorite wrestlers.
Shooting.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite wrestlers have always been amateur guys like Shelton Benjamin. Brock Lesnar when he first came. Kurt Angle is my second favorite wrestler of all time. So I do like the shoot style, seeing the suplexes and some of the holds that I know how to do and used to use in high school.
You know what I'm a mark for?
Stretching me.
blade jobs.
Blading.
I like blood in my match. I like color. I think we're gonna see double juice in this match.
Double juice.
Yeah.
Double juice, full Muda, 1.0 on the Muda scale. We're getting 2.0 on the Muda scale because you got to add both of them together.
Both guys.
Both guys. Both these guys. Both these guys.
Both these guys.
Oh man, I bet you there'll be a few Americans in the crowd trying to start that chant.
Oh my gosh.
So, I'm also going with Kenny Omega here to retain the U.S. title. And like you guys said, I'm expecting this just to be an old classic, street fight, brawl up and down the Tokyo Dome, blood everywhere, chairs, Japanese tables. That's right, not the normal American table, the Japanese table.
The real ones.
The ones that don't break ever.
Right, unless you actually do something crazy like Omega did last year.
He flipped over.
Right.
Speaking of
They should have just called this a Tokyo death match instead of a Texas death match.
Right.
This should be a Tokyo death match.
Tokyo Dome death match.
Yo, speaking of tables and speaking of Ric Flair and Terry Funk, how about when Ric Flair got freaking pile drived on the freak? It was like it was.
Yes.
That table did not give.
Did not break. The whole table flipped over.
Yeah.
The wrong way.
So I'm also, definitely either a 4.75 to 5-star match here. Kenny Omega is going to have his working boots on. Jericho's going to have his working boots on. And just to tell you how much hype this match has had, you guys been listening to the podcast, I'm a t-shirt mark, and I went to a Hot Topic and I was looking for the Alpha Club shirt and West Shore Mall, but they were all sold out already.
Man.
Yeah, today it's crazy. I mentioned it on another podcast that someone at work mentioned this match to me. Today, I was at work, I was pulling a double shift, and I was so tired. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am freaking exhausted right now. If I'm hyped at all, it's just because I'm excited about the freaking Wrestle Kingdom. And I was talking to my coworker. This guy's been sitting next to me all year, and we never really talk about, I'm a kind of a closet mark. I don't always wear Bullet Club shirts to work or anything. I'm
Guilty.
And I was like, man, I'm so tired. He's like, what are you doing after this, man? I was like, I gotta go to a show. And I started telling him about the podcast. He's like, oh, you like pro wrestling? And so he's a closet mark for pro wrestling too. And I should have known he's Hispanic, and us Hispanic people, our whole families, He's like, oh, my grandfather and my cousins, we all watch wrestling. I'm like, I should have known you, man. And then he was like, he thought, he was like, wait, do you really like wrestling, or are you just messing?
Are you working me?
Are you working me?
Work and shoot, brother.
And I was like, nah, man, come over here. Look, I'm watching this Okada interview right now. He's like, oh, New Japan. He's like, I heard that Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho are going to have a wrestling match. I want to see it. And I was like, dude, my friend here in Tampa who doesn't even know I like wrestling, he knows about freaking Jericho and Omega.
Right.
People are really talking about this, all over the world. People you wouldn't expect, closet, casual fans. This is getting more, notoriety and, press than I think anything WrestleMania is going to do this year.
The double main event.
Right. They clearly said in that press conference, the double main event.
Listen, guys, there's no way that this can't be 5 stars, okay? You had the freaking announcement of the match, that anticipation, that gives you a half star right there. Then the freaking promo the attack in Fukuoka, that's a whole nother star. So we're already at 1.5 right there. Then they bladed, that's 2 stars.
The press conference.
That's
Jericho losing his damn mind.
Jericho's promo, Don Callis. We're already at 3 stars right now, and the match hasn't even started yet.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, this is Punk versus Cena in 2011 type territory for anticipation right now. This is gonna be amazing. And if you don't think that this crowd in Japan is gonna be white hot for this match, you've lost your mind. This is gonna be an insane match.
Dude, they're gonna love this match. I mean, like Rich was saying, they love Kenny Omega. They see him as one of their own, and what Jericho did to him, they're gonna be wanting Kenny to
whoop that ass.
Stick it to Jericho in this match.
They're close to 40 right now. If I'm correct, they're almost already at 40,000 tickets sold, close to that right now, right?
That's what I was hearing.
Yeah. I mean,
draws.
This is a draw. Yeah. This match is freaking drawing like nothing else in the world right now. This is crazy.
I think Jericho would be wise to hang around
Right.
New Japan for at least another couple shows.
This is going to help out New Japan World subscriptions too.
What if Jericho wins, guys?
Dude, I've been thinking about that. Like, the whole swerve, bro. Like, what if, Jericho wins and he stays in New Japan for the rest of the year?
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to talk about adding prestige to your new U.S. title? Kenny Omega wins it in America, and then Chris Jericho comes to Japan and wins the title. What if Jericho comes back with the title? What if Jericho comes back and
holds the belt hostage?
What if he works like an indie with the freaking title or something like that? You know.
Bro, he's Chris Jericho.
Bro,
there's no use in trying. Bro, there's no use in trying to figure out what Chris Jericho is going to do.
Right.
Like he's been fooling folks for years.
Right. And what we know he's working the next night, New Year's Dash.
You think he's like in a 6-man or something like that, or
I don't know.
I think he might just
jump
somebody to set up his next.
You guys think he's sticking around? I don't think he's sticking around, but. I already said it last time. Like, I would be...
So what else would he do at New Year's Dash if he's not?
Work the fun 10-man tag and get out of there. Pin me and pay me, baby. I mean, guys, I would love for Jericho to stick around and, like, maybe...
He wrestles against Gato.
Yeah, right. He could. I just... I don't want to get worked, man. Like,
I'm tired of Jericho working me.
Here's the thing: he's not gonna be in WWE anytime soon. There's a Folly tour coming up in the spring. He's not gonna be at WrestleMania. There's a concert that same night. So unless he pulls something crazy, he's not gonna be at WrestleMania. I could see him, doing more New Japan this year.
He could.
Show up at Sakura Genesis or something.
Right.
It's just like I said before. I think at the end of the day, unless he really believes in this New Japan thing right now, and maybe he's on that whole Mick Foley. I'm trying to go over to Japan to pop the territory, like Terry Funk.
Help him grow it.
Yeah, help him grow the brand, and he's on that Terry Funk stuff right now. And I mean.
What if we see Jericho as Strong Style evolved in Long Beach?
We could. I mean, bro, Jericho could be like Japan's Terry Funk, going forward. He could be what Terry Funk was to All Japan. He could be that for New Japan at this point, but I still think he's a WWE guy. I think he's a Vince McMahon guy, and I don't see him leaving WWE. I just don't see it.
He's a Vince McMahon guy in the United States. What?
Yeah, he's a Gato guy over there.
Yeah, right. Vince ain't gonna watch, and Vince don't really care. Vince is like, oh, you gonna do something in Japan? Yeah, go ahead, whatever. I don't care.
Hey, New Japan, if you're listening, I think Rich Ladd just gave you guys an idea for your next shirt. I'm a Gato guy. Any last thoughts on this match? Anything that we didn't talk about?
Nah, I think we covered it all.
So
this match is about anything but the belt.
Right.
What are we gonna see? One winged angel? 1, 2, 3?
Maybe a one-winged angel through a Japanese table.
Oof! No,
man.
That's death.
Someone might die if that happens. I think it's clean. One winged angel.
We getting thumbtacks in this match?
No.
It's Jericho. He went through thumbtacks.
He's done it once.
Done it once.
I don't know if Omega is about that life.
Yeah.
Omega might be about. Omega's about that life, guys.
We're gonna see some V triggers.
Yes, lots of them. We didn't talk about our favorite move, the V triggers.
The V trigger.
You guys want to tell everyone about how we how we pretty much call out V triggers at all times?
Right.
So those of you who are listening, who came up with this idea?
I think
it was Jeremy.
Because we were at an NXT show and somebody had a jumping knee strike. I was like, V trigger!
And we all just died laughing.
It
kind of just stuck from there.
So then we started just making up this rule that any knee that has ever been landed to the head of an opponent in any capacity, with any velocity, in any position,
any promotion,
that's a V trigger from now on.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if the V trigger is a knockoff of the freaking Bombay knee. The Bombay is a V trigger.
Yes, right. V trigger now.
Kota Ibushi's Kamigoye? Nah, that's a V trigger.
So we're at Shine.
Triple H, high running knee, V trigger.
We were a few months back. We were in at the Orpheum in Tampa watching a Shine event, and we were talking about how we're gonna call it V triggers. But everyone was these two guys were kind of sleeping on the match. One of the chicks, she grabs someone, puts him in a freaking Muay Thai clinch. She starts throwing knees, and I was like, V trigger. V-trigger, V-trigger, V-trigger.
I was not ready. Oh my god.
I literally thought these guys were gonna like die. So like now like we'll be in like wrestling groups, and anytime someone lands a knee to the head, we'll be like V-trigger, and people don't know what we're talking about. They're like no one comments, but people are starting to pick up on it.
Right.
Harley Race like literally standing over a dazed opponent and dropping the slowest knee you've ever seen in the world.
V-trigger.
Oh man. So go ahead. I encourage you guys. Next time you're at a live wrestling event and somebody hits a knee, yell out V-trigger.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's a new movement.
we're gonna be at a lot of indie shows, WrestleMania weekend.
So we're about to start this up. This is going to be the new Too Sweet after the pinfall.
Right. So you hear a bunch of guys yelling V-trigger WrestleMania weekend. That's us.
Oh man.
All right, guys. We have the last match of the night for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Okada defending the title against the G1 Climax winner, Tetsuya Naito. Rich, floor's yours.
Man, when I watched the G1 final, I watched it live at 5 a.m. I woke up that morning. I just had to like use the bathroom or something around that time. And I was like, I know the G1 final is like probably on or whatever. So I had my tablet, and I pulled it up, and Naito and Omega are about to lock up. So I watched that match, and I was just so blown away by Okada and Naito's performance. And then with Naito getting the win, like it was one of the craziest matches I've ever seen, on the level of Okada and Omega. I think this match, this will be the classic of the night. This will be the one, like as far as like these guys are going to get to watch everything else, and then they're going to be like, how can I top it? Both of these guys are wrestling geniuses. Okada, I wrote it in my column today, he's just turned 30 years old. If he dropped dead today, you can make an argument he's the greatest wrestler to ever live. Naito, these guys have obviously had the match before at Wrestle Kingdom. Was that 8?
Yeah, I just watched it.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom 8. And, the main event was taken away from them. And that really stuck with Naito. He's literally Roman Reigns. Like, they put his main event up to a fan vote, and the fans said, fuck him. Like, so this guy has carried that for years and years. And he's gone on excursion. He's come back with this new attitude. He's ridiculously over. And the guy's a genius in his own right. They used to call him the Stardust Genius.
He is the Stardust Genius.
Yeah. And Okada has literally kicked everyone's ass like Bret Hart in 1997. Aside from Kenny. Kenny, tied him and all that. But these guys, it's been about who's going to be the man. And if you've been paying attention, I think it's the LIJ night. Okada's the longest reigning champion ever. I haven't seen a title switch at the Tokyo Dome in how long now? Like an IWGP title? Like
when he
Okada beat
Tanahashi.
Okada was already the champion.
Going into that match?
Yes.
Wrestle Kingdom 11?
Yes. Wrestle Kingdom 10.
What, 10? I mean, yeah.
Because Tanahashi won a G1 before that.
You're right.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if it's in their cards to do a title switch there, and if they want to beat their ace Okada in the Tokyo Dome. But everything tells me that it's Naito's time. Naito, his entire arc has led him back to this moment with the G1 win, with the IC push, and going through Tanahashi last year.
I'm looking this up to answer your question. I think Wrestle Kingdom 7 was the last time.
Yeah. So
no. Tanahashi was the champion and he beat Okada. Man, it's been that long.
Yeah. So I'm really skeptical that they're going to change the belt, but I think the time is coming. This is a full circle match. Like we're all the way back to where Naito was always supposed to be. This is the time. Will he choke? We don't know. But I'm
Wrestle Kingdom 5.
Wrestle Kingdom 5. So
that
how
was 2011 freaking Tanahashi beat Kojima for the title. That's how long it's been.
Wow.
So, with that, Okada and Naito are going to combine. This is going over 5 stars. I've got it at 5.5, personally. And it's kind of hard to quantify the over 5 scale because it's only been done, a couple of times. But these two guys are part of that. So Kenny's not in it, but if you're asking me two other guys to do it, I couldn't think of two better guys to do it. And I'm really excited to see Okada pretty much, if it's the end of this reign, what's fucking with it? That's what I want to ask. So you guys can tweet me if you at RichLatta32 if you come with an answer of what's fucking with that.
Okay, so I just watched the Wrestle Kingdom 8 main event for you guys listening out there. Again, we're going to make mention of it. New Japan, they put out a free match every couple weeks or every week. It's supposed to be every Monday.
It's every Monday.
It's supposed to be every Monday, but they haven't been doing it. But they just recently, after a few weeks, put out the new free match of the week, which was the Wrestle Kingdom co-main event, which was Naito versus Okada. And last night I was like, you know what? I've never seen this match. I should probably get around to watching it. And so I watched it, and while it was a really good match, it wasn't what I would call a great match. And seeing Naito in that particular instance, it was really strange watching someone. I mean, he could do all the same moves, and I mean, he was just as excellent in the ring. But man, watching him walk down to the ring, he looked like a deer in headlights, man.
No swagger.
No swag. I think, and if who's that guy on YouTube? Let's put that guy who puts out those awesome videos.
Showbuckle.
Showbuckle vids.
Showbuckle vids, man. You put out some of the best freaking New Japan videos on the internet. He's got a video about the
fall and rise of Tetsuya
Naito, and he gives some insight to the lead up to that match. And I mean, I could see why Naito looked the way he did, because he had no fan support going into that match whatsoever. Really insane. And then obviously just watching the match, I feel like it's important to make mention of it because of where we're coming from to where we're at now. The fact that they were supposed to be the main event, and Naito's push basically died because the fans wouldn't get behind him. He is Roman Reigns.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in the match, the way it was worked, at no point, even though Naito was competitive, at no point did Naito put Okada in any position where I was like, oh my god, he's about to pick up the 1, 2, 3. The only types of near falls he got were quick roll ups, quick counters, because it was all Okada just beating the brakes off this basically young challenger who didn't belong in the same ring as him. Fast forward,
it's crazy because Okada's like 4 years younger than him.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty much peers at this point. And, it's 4 years later, and nearly everybody thinks that this is Naito's time. He's the MVP in Japan 2 years running. He's the hottest act in the entire promotion in Japan. He's selling more merchandise than anybody else out there. And they've done an excellent job building to this match with all the preview matches and the intrigue of, this new Cobra Clutch move that Okada has pulled out to try to counter the Destino. And with all that being said, who's going to win this match? I think most people are predicting that Okada's going to win this match. Naito's going to win this match. I'm gonna say, guys, I don't see the 8, and I've gone back and forth on this a million times. I think Naito's losing.
Wow.
I think Naito's gonna eat a couple Rainmakers, and he's gonna go 1, 2, 3, or he might even go to sleep to that Cobra Clutch hold. I don't know. It does seem like this should be the time where he wins. I see all of LIJ winning all the belts going into the final match, and then I see Okada putting him back down a peg or two and establishing the fact that he is in the middle of the greatest IWGP title reign that there ever has been. I think that people are saying if Naito wins, it opens up all these fresh matchups. And if Okada wins, where does he go from there? I think that they're going to swerve everybody, guys. I think I've just been thinking a lot about it. And I think that because they really want to establish this guy as the ace, I think that he's going to beat the top star in the entire company on the biggest stage possible. And I'm not saying Naito's not going to win the belt. I'm not saying Naito's not going to come back and beat this man. But I think on this night, on that stage, it's all Okada.
Man, bold prediction there, young boy.
Yeah.
But, I'm kind of in the same camp with Rich. I'm going with Naito. Like you guys mentioned, this whole story arc, it kind of leads back to this point. I think it's just a perfect, ending for this rivalry to have Naito get the belt back. If you think about it, this current title reign started by beating Naito for the belt. And so what better way for it to end by losing to Naito at Wrestle Kingdom? I mean, Okada, he's still the ace. A lost hair is not going to lower him. He'll, like Rich said, he'll probably win the G1. He will probably be in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom 13 the following year. So, Okada's position, it's solid. I think now's the time. Naito, he has all the momentum. Like you mentioned, Josh, he's selling top merchandise. He's a top star right now. Like, all the signs are there. Like, put a strap on him and, just roll with it.
Yeah.
You know what my concern is? Naito cares. Naito wants the belt. He is loving the fan adulation. A year and a half ago, this was not Naito. When he was coming back with that vigor and that freaking strife and that hatred, that animosity to the fans when they were cheering him, he could not care one bit about it because it was all about LIJ and that's all that mattered. And, when he won the belt, he was throwing it around. He didn't care about the belt. He didn't care about the fans. When he freaking won the IC title, he was talking about how they needed to decommission the title. He wanted to break the title. And then something changed in this past year, right around the time G1 came around, and he really wanted to win G1. He won the G1. You didn't see him throwing that trophy around. You didn't see him working their heels, clearly. But I think this is going to be his downfall. I think this is just something I picked up on. I think that this is where I think there's more interest in the story of Naito losing and Okada being the golden boy and the chase that Naito got too soft. Naito cared too much and put too much effort, and the fact that it's been a whole year build, it reminds me of Wrestle Kingdom 10 all over again. It was supposed to be Okada's year.
No, you mean Wrestle Kingdom 9.
Yeah.
Oh, was it 9?
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom 9.
Oh, yeah, my bad. So Wrestle Kingdom 9 was supposed to be his year, and everybody was saying he was going to
beat Tanahashi
in the Dome. And what happened? Go home, rebuild, come back, and guess what? It made Okada the star he is today. He got way bigger after that loss and coming back.
A lot of really good points.
And
a lot of really good points.
Something else too, and that's kind of part of the storyline for this match. We mentioned last week, Okada's promos. He was like, Naito, you like being MVP. You're happy that you're the MVP of, Tokyo Sports and the weekly World Pro. But he's like, guess what? I'm still a champ. I'm a pro wrestler. I don't need to be the MVP. I'm the man.
I'm about to mess you guys' picks up right here.
Man, that is really something to think about, man. Because it's I think the way to look at this match, you can't look at it without looking down the road. I think Okada's gonna win the G1, right? Coming up next year. It's been, since 2014 since he's won it. I think he's going to be in a position where he's not the champion by that point. And it really just comes down to who do you think the champion is going to be? Do you think it's going to be Omega by that time? Or do you think it's going to just still be Naito? I think they're going towards Omega and Okada for Wrestle Kingdom 13 as the final chapter or whatever. And then Omega can figure out if he wants to stay in New Japan or not from there. But, that's the only thing. It's do they skip over Naito now and then it's a situation where Dominion Omega beats Okada for it and then Okada has to win the G1 and then come back for another one, or do they kind of use Naito in that Nakamura role, just underneath, being ridiculously hot and doing his thing with the stable? I think you go with the title. Why not? And then you set up towards with Naito and Omega at some point this year. Maybe you do a switch there and then you get it back, the next year.
But I think to us North American fans, we assume and believe that Kenny is what we think he is and know that he is. But on the flip side of things, Kenny isn't that to the Japanese audience. Naito is. Naito's the guy, not Kenny. And as much as Kenny is like a huge star there and a big attraction and all that, Naito's the guy who they're really invested in when it comes to establishing him as that top rival to Okada, not Kenny. And so that's why I think potentially, and I could be way off base here. If Okada gets beat 1, 2, 3, I'm not going to be surprised because everyone's saying it's Naito, it's his year, it's his time. If that happens, this is what makes pro wrestling great when you literally almost can't call it.
Man, no predictability.
Wow. Yeah.
But
as compared to, another big event coming relatively soon.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, if Okada loses, right? Where does Okada go from there?
Well, that was a question we got from Kyle Moore. He said, yeah, if Naito goes over, what's next for Okada?
He has to rebuild.
Right. But I mean, I would say,
time off. He probably beat the hell.
Hellacious title run. I would say, like Omega took some time off last year after Wrestle Kingdom. Okada should take some time off if he loses after Wrestle Kingdom. Come back and have his whole goal being getting his title back, and eventually having to go into G1, and then he wins the G1, and then ends up in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom 13 to fight whoever the champion is.
But let me ask you this. Where does Naito go if Naito loses?
I don't know.
See, I do. I see the booking there. I see it. It's like a vision. And I'm never someone who's big on being like, hey, I'm going to book this, hypothetical this or that, because I'm not good at it. But sometimes when I see it. And I'm like, dude, Naito losing could be the best thing that's ever happened to his entire career, because all of a sudden the storyline is, oh man, it happened to him again. He lost to Okada in the Tokyo Dome twice in a row after everything that he did, after the excursion and building this character and everything that he did. It still wasn't enough to get to the level that Okada's at. I think I can see the push to where the motivation for Okada, if he loses, he's been there. Does he come back? I mean, yeah, he'll be in the mix, but he won't be on this legendary run that he is now. I think if Naito loses, comes back after the New Japan Cup and freaking beats this man, and there's no question about it, that's where I'm like, I can see that. I can see it. And it makes...
Young boy have the vision.
And it makes Naito a bigger... Even though it's not winning in the Tokyo Dome, and some people were like, well, how does it get bigger than winning in the Tokyo Dome? Coming back after losing in the Tokyo Dome. How many people would pay... I think that if they book Sumo Hall at Sakura Genesis or whatever they're going to call it. Is it Sakura Genesis here? I think they're calling it Sumo. Dude, Naito against Okada in Sumo Hall.
Isn't that like Naito's town, essentially?
Bro, that's where he's winning the title, bro. That's where he's going to come back. He's going to demolish this New Japan Cup, and he's going to win the belt there. I think he's losing to Okada in the Tokyo Dome. And the thing is, the Ace doesn't lose in the Tokyo Dome. Tanahashi never lost in the Tokyo Dome. I don't think that they're gonna have Okada go under. I don't think he's gonna put anybody over in the Tokyo Dome at this stage in his career.
Yeah, man, those are all valid points.
All great points.
It's still hard, man. It's still hard to pick, one of those guys. So we're just gonna have to tune in on New Japan World January 4th and see what happens. We had one last question from our Scottish export, Ricky and Clive.
Oh, it just came in?
No, they tweeted us. It was on the Facebook thread. They tweeted us on our show account at KI Strong Style. They said, which match, in your opinion, is bigger? Jericho versus Omega or Okada versus Naito? From someone who doesn't follow New Japan too much, I'd say Jericho versus Omega, purely because it's a dream match, and Jericho wrestling under the New Japan promotion is a pretty big deal. Rich, what do you think?
That is the more novelty thing. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, Chris Jericho, 20 years in WWE, essentially, coming over to New Japan with this, pseudo war that's going on between WWE and New Japan, and the fight for fans' attentions, and Twitter and what I call social currency. But I don't know, like. I mean, we spent a lot of time just talking about Okada and Naito. Like, that's a really big match for the future of New Japan, and I can't say the same for Omega and Jericho. It is the novelty on the night, but the fallout isn't there for me, so I would probably go with Naito and Okada.
So, Rich totally stole my point right there. So, I feel the exact same way. When I start to think about it in terms of like, what's the bigger match in terms of like fan interest and intrigue? What has that Sting versus Hogan type-esque,
that
vibe? It's definitely Omega versus Jericho, because it really is a dream match, and it's been booked like a blood feud with no real feud behind it.
Right.
I remember Rance was talking about this. He's like, how can it be a blood feud with 2 promos, basically? And it is. It absolutely is, as crazy as that sounds. But with that being said, moving forward, I think it'll be an important moment for Omega, maybe for Jericho if he sticks around. I mean, it's some of the best work he's done in years. But in the long run, what determines the future of New Japan? It's not Omega and Jericho. This is a sidetrack diversion for Omega to get to where he really is going to be going. The reality here is it's what really is going to determine like the future of New Japan. Like I just said, is it's Okada Naito, and in Japan that's the bigger match. Regardless how many tickets they sell, from a storytelling standpoint, that's the biggest match of the night. It's going on last. It is the real main event.
Right, and I agree with both of you guys. I think Okada, Naito, one thing we sometimes forget being American fans watching this product, that ultimately this is a Japanese company. Their main audience are the Japanese fans. So the bigger match in that country is Okada and Naito. Those are the guys that are going to be there, for the foreseeable future. Okada is their current ace. He'll probably be the ace for like the next 10 years. I mean, and he said he's only 30.
Yeah.
So those are going to be the guys that are going to be the faces of that company in the country. And this Omega and Jericho, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a big match, and there's definitely the worldwide appeal, and it's going to help bring more, American viewers, North American viewers, and people all over the world. But at the end of the day, Okada and Naito is going to be the thing that's driving forward this IWGP title picture and just the future of the company.
And I can't state how important like the IWGP title has like gotten. It's like it's at a mythical level right now. Like with Okada, Okada's on like literally on like how they always said he's just on another level than everybody else. If you win that belt right now, you have to be a like surefire, like best in the world, Hall of Famer guy. Like they're not gonna fuck the money on any of their titles.
They're not gonna put a jobber as IWGP heavyweight champion.
I guess I did throw you to oop there.
Yeah. Bone Soldier is not going to be the IWGP heavyweight champion.
Oh my gosh.
Yoshihashi is not going to be the IWGP heavyweight champion. David Finlay is not going to be the IWGP heavyweight champion. Toru Yano is not going to be the IWGP heavyweight champion.
Correct.
They're going to put it on a guy who's all around great on the mic, great in the ring, and then a legit superstar.
Do you know what putting the title on gender in WWE is like? That would be like if New Japan decided to put the belt on somebody who would never be in the G1.
Right.
Someone who couldn't even be in the G1, and then they put the belt on him.
And then he beat everybody.
And then he beats everybody. That is exactly what that would be like.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
All right, we're going to wind the show down. Josh, I know you had a few news items you wanted to mention real quick.
Yeah, so, catching you guys up on some of the stuff that's been going on. Obviously, we're coming up on Wrestle Kingdom week, so there's a lot of, really cool announcements. The day before Wrestle Kingdom, I don't know if a lot of you folks out there that listen are aware, they do a fan fest and celebration the day before. Very similar to at WrestleMania how they have access. So there's a few different things that are going on. They're gonna be having a press conference at 1 p.m. on January the 3rd. There's gonna be a special talk show. So there may even be some sort of angle that's run during this time that's really something that they do.
They're gonna have matches there too.
Yeah.
They'll have 3 live matches. Usually these matches aren't anything that is spectacular. This year it's going to be tag matches, just, tag openers. Many of the guys that are in these tag matches typically will end up in the New Japan Rumble, though, on the card. And essentially it's like when WWE does the fan access matches at WWE Access, that sort of thing. The first match that we have on that, it's the Lionsgate. These are all Lionsgate special matches. So the first match is going to be everybody's favorite bald young boy, Tetsuhiro Yagi, teaming up with the greatest junior of all time, Jushin Thunder Liger, taking on Ren Narita and Tiger Mask. The second match is going to be Tamayuki Oka and Hiroyoshi Tenzan teaming against Katsuyori Kitamura and Satoshi Kojima.
So yeah, that's an interesting matchup.
Man, got the old guys fighting the old guys and
the new guys fighting the new guys. And then in the final, we've got Hirai Kawato, the ace of the Young Boys, teaming up with the former ace of New Japan, Yuji Nagata, taking on Syoda Umino, who is Red Shoe's son.
So he might rig those matches one day.
Teaming up with Manabu Nakanishi. So those are going to be the 3 matches. These will be aired on New Japan World, so you'll be able to catch those. Aside from that, there's also going to be a bunch of autograph signings that are lined up for that day as well. If any of you listeners are out there, you might want to catch this. Kota Ibushi's signing Sho and Yo, Cody, Hiroyuki Goto, Taguchi. But the really big, and I'm assuming will probably be a huge highlight of the weekend, Katsuyori Shibata is going to be signing autographs from 12:20 p.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. And I'm also thinking it's very interesting if he's going to be signing autographs. Who knows if he will be at, the Tokyo Dome show, and if maybe he makes a special appearance or something of that nature.
New Japan Rumble.
Right.
What if he came in and won the New Japan Rumble?
That would be awesome.
Oh my God. Maybe
Mark out.
Also, at 12 o'clock p.m. on December the 3rd, during the Wrestle Kingdom Fan Fest, which, by the way...
January 3rd, everybody.
I'm sorry. What did I keep saying?
It's in December.
I keep doing that at work all day, too. It's I'm messing up people's taxes and stuff. January 3rd, this Fan Fest, all the tickets are sold out for it, so if you have to have your tickets, but they are making a special announcement for a new New Japan Pro Wrestling video game.
Yes, sir.
There is speculation that maybe this will just be a mobile-based game in Japan, but many people, fingers crossed, are hoping that this ends up being an actual either PC or multi-platform like PlayStation 4, Xbox.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Telling you, I have that immediately.
Right.
I don't want to snitch on you and put your business out there, Rich, but you seem to be able to get your hands on some of the older Japanese video games.
Yeah, man, I got everything on my phone. Whatever you want, I can get it. Essentially.
So it's been several years. The last really prominent games where it featured New Japan wrestlers was the Fire Pro games, which they just came out with the new Fire Pro, but they hadn't since 05. And around that same time period, they had the Wrestle Kingdom games. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those. They're dope. So it wasn't a New Japan licensed video game, but it was basically a cross-branded video game that featured guys from Noah, All Japan, New Japan, and then but it was actual license, so it was the real guys and everything. It was for the 360 and PS3. But they haven't really done a game like that was similar to a Raw or SmackDown type, or WWE, what are they, 2K?
2K.
Yeah, they haven't done anything like that in years. Back in the 90s, they did have those virtual pro wrestling games. And
Got them both.
Yeah, we just got those.
And translated into English.
Do you have those, what are they called? The Shippon Retsuden? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I downloaded it. It didn't work for some reason.
That's the one that SmackDown was based on.
It was like Nippon something.
So those were actually New Japan video games. So they've only had they had some Super Famicom and Nintendo games in the early 90s, and then in the like 2000s they had the games that Ukes basically produced. That's what the original SmackDown engine was based off of. But it's been years since we've had a real New Japan video game. I mean, I know that we've been talking for a while here, but let me ask you, what are your guys' favorite video games as far when it comes to pro wrestling?
I mean, I'm a WWE guy when it comes to video games. I mean, that's pretty much the only game that I buy every year is the WWE 2K video games. And any other game I play, I usually rent it or borrow. But yeah, I always spend money on the 2K games. So I mean, I'd be excited for a New Japan game. Honestly, I was kind of disappointed with 2K18 this year.
Same here.
It's pretty much
go figure.
It was pretty much 2K17 with just new guys in it. And, the career mode I wasn't feeling, and universe mode, it's the same cutscenes. I'm doing my good booking, but, the same, hey, man, my booking is
on point.
On point, man.
Yeah.
Gender is nowhere to be seen on my card.
This man's killing gender today.
Oh, man.
Was that the first match you did?
Yeah.
See, I made sure I was ready. I wasn't going to do nothing like lose the gender in my first match. So I did Nakamura versus The Miz and made sure I was straight. I was like, oh, okay. So I got the timing and all that. And then next match, AJ Styles whooped that ass for the belt.
I gave him the honor of losing it on pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
But AJ whooped that man. Style clash.
Yes.
But, so yeah, I'd be pretty pumped for a New Japan game and be able to play with like a real Okada, Naito, downloaded, created wrestlers.
What about you, Rich? What's like, when it comes to wrestling video games, I know you've got a treasure trove on your phone.
I've literally played, I feel like I played them all.
What's your favorites?
I think you got to go with WCW NWO World Tour.
Oh,
now, folks normally point at No Mercy and Revenge and all that.
I like Revenge better than World Tour.
I spent so many hours on World Tour with my stepbrothers, like playing in like those. Either we would choose the NWO and we would do a handicap match and beat the hell out of somebody, and we'd be like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and we put them in the NWO shirt and jeans, or we do the Battle Royals. We play that game like crazy. And then I found out about the Japanese version of World Tour, which is the super expanded roster. That's probably my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm a really big fan. I like, for Sega Genesis, there's this really awesome game called Saturday Night Slam Masters. Mm-hmm. It's made by the same guys that make Street Fighter. It uses the same, it's basically like an arcade game, but it's pro wrestling. It's a Japanese game. It's freaking awesome. I love SmackDown SmackDown Here Comes the Pain.
Yes, Here Comes the Pain.
That was good.
The story modes in that game are just legendary. I like No Mercy. I don't like No Mercy better than Revenge for the gameplay necessarily, but the branching storylines that you can do in the store. And I can't tell you how many times I broke a freaking N64 controller trying to unlock Andre the Giant. Because you had to win the Battle Royal and go 100-0 basically. I did it, but I broke like 5 controllers trying to do it.
Damn.
There's been a lot of
the SmackDown 2 Know Your Role on PlayStation.
I love SmackDown 2.
It's super fast paced. Yeah. It's insane. I remember I could never beat Shawn Michaels. I don't know why. He just always used to whoop me.
There's actually,
and he was a hidden character in that game.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
You would unlock him when you got to the pay-per-view where he was the special guest referee in the Iron Man match.
Yeah.
You had to win the Iron Man match in the career mode to unlock him. Another game that just Fire Pro in general. I can't remember which Fire Pro it was, but there was a Fire Pro I played where there was a storyline, and you were basically a creator wrestler. They almost have no career modes in Fire Pro, but this is one of the only 2 that had it. And I beat it, and your character commits suicide at the end of the story.
What?
The fuck?
It sounds crazy, but the storyline in this game was so like convoluted and epic. It was like an anime or like a Japanese like I don't know, just like
that's crazy.
You know what else I like? WWE 12, the story that they did where they brought back WCW and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was really good.
And you know what else was good was the storyline with Sheamus and the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I love
all those storylines were good.
No,
like
not all the storylines. The Triple H storyline was garbage.
You didn't like the Triple H
Oh, I
storyline?
hate the Triple H storyline.
Oh,
It's
man.
awful. So we love.
He like collapsed at the end. Like I liked it.
You guys need to check out. I've never played Wrestle Kingdom, but I've seen videos of it online. And it's weird. It's like the most weird game mechanics. But I'm hoping that if they do a real actual video game, that with the type of, I mean, if you played UFC, the kind of physics that they've got now, WWE sucks. Like, they need to be up in their game. Like, all they're doing is upping the graphics every year.
And they're starting to add fucking like loot crates and shit. Like I don't need none of that.
Yeah, man.
Or whatever.
Here's the thing I hate about the career mode. I know we're going off a little tangent here.
Let's do it. It's our show. Let's do it.
You booking this shit, brother?
The thing I hate about the career mode in 2K18 is like, I envision my guy as coming off of the indies or maybe even coming from Japan. Like, at that point, he should have his moveset. I shouldn't have to, like, buy a moveset. Going, like, I should come in. I get maybe you want to make me, like, lower attributes, but I should be able to have my full moveset, full entrance attire. Like, I shouldn't have to earn that.
You know what it is? They're trying to teach you how to work, Jeremy. That's what they're trying to do.
My guy comes in, they deprogram him, they put him in the performance center with Albert.
Yes, they make you wrestle Tino Sabatelli a million times.
Is he in the game?
No.
Oh my god.
They do make you job the Baron Corbin on like your second day.
Oh man.
Career mode. Like literally, it's a squash. They're like, oh yeah, you have to face Baron Corbin today, and you're in the PC. You go in there, and like no matter what you do, like Baron Corbin squashes you, and it's supposed to like teach you like a lesson or whatever. So yeah, they
humble.
They humble you. They deprogram your guy.
Make him humble.
He has to start from square one, no matter what the background is. So
did you guys ever play Def Jam?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I used to be who the fuck did I used to pick?
I always played with Redman.
I think I might have picked Joe Budden because he had the hoodie on. I think I might have picked Joe Budden or
Redman too.
But that game used the Aki system that all those N64 games used. I mean, could you imagine if like if New Japan like came out with a video game that kind of used like an enhanced, newer version of that like system?
Another game I also like too was the Legends of Wrestling game.
Yeah, I remember that. It was acclaimed.
Cool,
they were cool because of the rosters.
Right.
And the storyline was great.
Yeah, that territory system.
Yeah.
From territory to territory, getting all the belts, and then you became the world champion.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what else is awesome?
Power Move Pro Wrestling.
What's Power Move Pro Wrestling? What is that?
Sony PlayStation 1995. The first 3D wrestling game that was on the Sony PlayStation. And also, and it was kind of like a primitive version of what SmackDown became.
That's
all fantasy guys.
That's the New Japan game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same system. That's the American version of the New Japan game from '95. The Red Spin, whatever it was called.
Also, WCW versus the World.
I love that game.
Yes.
I love that game. Yo, I was playing with Shinya Hashimoto for years. He was my...
Bro, all these dudes. Bro, I wrote a column. Was Black Ninja the greatest video game wrestler of all time? I think that's like I put that one in the Lords of Pain forums, right? Yeah. I think that was like the highest views that I ever did. And it was crazy. It was probably like 900 or something.
Well, what I loved about Black Ninja was how he kept coming back game after game.
In different ways.
And I was like, this is the same guy from WCW vs. the World. And I didn't know that he was Great Suzuki.
Me either.
I had no clue.
I just ninja.
I was like, I loved Hashimoto because I was playing with him in the game and I found out that his special strong grapple was he would like punch the dudes in the face like 5 or 6 times, then he would kick him like 8 times. He had like just like a killer instinct like AJ Styles type like striking exchange, and then he would like 9 times out of 10 if you hit someone with it, they'd fall down on the ground and be knocked out for real. And I was like, this is the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yes.
I did not know that Shinya Hashimoto was a real guy who was in Japan. He was the IWGP. I didn't know none of it. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh man. So hopefully, if this game is just some mobile-based crap game that's going to be over there, at least you got this awesome conversation about
telling you. Yeah. and if you want to know how to get hooked up, hit me up.
He's the illegal video game plug.
Yes.
The last couple things here. So New Japan just on their website put out, or on the YouTube channel, they just put out the Wonderland interview with Naito. It's a really, really good listen, and it builds a lot of hype for this upcoming, pay-per-view main event. So that's worth checking out. Speaking of hype for the pay-per-view, they actually just released all of their video presentations for each match.
Yes.
If you've never seen a New Japan video presentation for the hype for their, what are they called? Like promo videos?
Yeah, the promo video.
Yeah.
Man, they do the best promo videos in wrestling, bar none. And they actually translated all of them into English this year, which they've never
is
done
like
in the past.
nuts.
Yeah.
Normally you can just follow along with them and figure it out anyway.
We should just watch those after this.
Jeez.
So you get to actually see all the hype and condensed, what's going on with these matches. And then I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, Jado just did an interview on New Japan World where he talks about the upcoming Jericho match. That's worth checking out. And like I said, Omega and Jericho, they've been all over the press this past week and just doing awesome podcasts and interviews. One last thing I just want to throw in there. Well, two things. One, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Tama Tonga, just like the other week, he put out a tweet and he put a little cryptic. He said, OG Bullet Club reunion. I think he said September 2019. It's really interesting because if you think about who the OG Bullet Club is, it is freaking
Finn Balor
himself, Tama Tonga,
Carl Anderson.
and Carl Anderson. And that's it, right? Just them four.
I think that was the original. Yeah.
The original. So that's really interesting because if you're following the North American product, there's certain guys that really aren't over, if you know what I'm saying, over there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some guys are getting under over there. So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen in 2019. It's a very interesting tweet from Tama Tonga.
Finn Balor needs to run away as fast as he can.
Guys, I mean, just look at what they've done to two of the biggest Japanese stars of all time. What they did to Balor and what they're doing to Nakamura. I mean, hopefully they redeem him. But, I mean, it's really disheartening to think that those two big stars are, stateside and we don't
floundering.
And they're floundering. And then the last thing is, we've mentioned a few times, but, to kind of cap off Wrestle Kingdom week and is New Year's Dash. It's going to be January 5th.
Always lit.
It's always amazing.
Craziest angles of the year usually pop off there.
Yeah, so there's always really cool angles. There's nothing there, the matches are not going to be the same in the same league as what you're going to see at Wrestle Kingdom, but you need a reset after Wrestle Kingdom. You need something to kind of start off the year and make things fresh, and you get fresh matchups, you get fresh storylines, and a lot of cool surprises. It's a really fun show in Cork and Hall. They're really heated up for it, so we're going to be covering all of that in the next week's episode.
Yeah, next week, we'll be covering all the results from Wrestle Kingdom and New Year's Dash, and then the following week after that, we'll be announcing the winners of the Keepin It Strong Style 2017 Year-End Awards.
How many more days do people have to vote? 3?
Well, by the time this episode drops, voting will be over. This episode drops January 2nd.
I keep forgetting the gimmick. I don't know how to work the gimmick.
Yeah, Josh keeps forgetting because we pre-record. So by now the votes will be done, and then January 16th we'll do a special episode releasing all the winners of that.
And then we're going straight into Fantastica Mania, right after that, and then we got the Road to the New Beginning, and then we got the New Beginning show. So it's a jam-packed January.
Right, and we just want to wish you guys a happy New Year. Thank you guys for listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We had an awesome December. The network is just exploding. So thank you, everybody, for listening and downloading. We just need your help getting some more ratings and reviews. So please take the time to rate the show and leave us, the Dave Meltzer 5-star review. We greatly appreciate that. You know, Rich, let them know where they can find you, what you got going on.
Yeah, plug your stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
Plug yourself over.
Yeah, I'm the host of One Nation Radio. I do the show with James. We've been at it for quite some time. We've had a big audience, we've had a small audience, and we've had a medium audience, and you know we're really riding the wave right now. You know, with this last month and going into Wrestle Kingdom and then WrestleMania coming up, and I think we're doing some of our collectively, we're all doing our best work right now, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at RichLatta32. You can catch my New Japan columns, including the full Wrestle Kingdom preview I just put out on socialsuplex.com. And I also write Latta's Lariat for lordsofpain.net. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And you can check my SoundCloud if you like rap. SoundCloud.com/RichLatta. You know, and yeah, but thank you guys for having me on and being the first guest. That's you can't change that. Can't take that away from me.
Yeah, I just realized thinking about it, 1 year ago, you and I were doing the preview to Wrestle Kingdom on your show.
Yep.
And we took over and we jobbed out that other bum that's on your show.
Oh man, those are fighting words.
Man, Josh got heat with James.
Oh
Two
man,
Nation Radio, baby.
Two Nation
You
Radio.
can follow me on Twitter at Jeremy L. Donovan. You can follow our show at KI Strong Style. You can follow Social Suplex at Social Suplex. You can join us all in the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group. That's our community group. A lot of great conversation and just, fun goes on there. And that's going to wrap it up for this week. Until next time.
Hold on. You guys hear that? Yeah, that's the Wrestle Kingdom theme song. You're hyped right now, aren't you? It's awesome.
So until next time, goodbye and good night.
Bang!